Chapter 314. Iron Blood Religion, Thousand Water Chapter. The sky above the new chapter leader's hall crackled with lightning. The lightning yuan qi in this area was abnormally active. In the end, rings of faint purple electric arcs could be seen in the sky. They interweaved like silk threads and extinguished like fireworks, forming a magnificent scene. Within a 10-mile radius, those at or above the ascended realm could feel this scene. No wonder he's someone the Deputy Patriarch has high hopes for. He's not even 17 but has reached the true spirit realm. Such a genius is rare even in the entire Canopy Great Country. Dai Ye's eyes twinkled. As an assistant, she protected Zhao Feng. With her many years of experience, Zhao Feng's breakthrough to the true spirit realm was abnormally smooth and there were almost no bottlenecks. The entire process was as smooth as water flowing through a canal. The commotion of the new chapter leader had alarmed the upper echelon of the Thousand Water chapter. Yun Sha and Chen Mingzhen's expressions were slightly solemn. This Zhao Feng isn't a normal genius. Back then, we were still struggling at the sixth sky of the ascended realm. Furthermore, he has a special eye bloodline. Chen Mingzhen's eyebrows furrowed as she felt that the situation was troublesome. If Zhao Feng hadn't reached the true spirit realm, in their eyes, he was just an ant with a backer. On the surface, it wasn't easy to deal with him, but in the dark, they could make him retreat. However, now that Zhao Feng had reached the true spirit realm, the situation was different. Once one reached the true spirit realm, one would no longer be mortal. This sentence was also applicable in the Canopy Great Country. Once one reached the true spirit realm, their lifespan and strength would increase dramatically. If he reaches the true spirit realm, it will indeed be troublesome to deal with him. Those with bloodlines are usually stronger than others of the same cultivation and he has the three-flowered treasured lotus. Yun Sha's expression kept changing. With their peak true human rank cultivation and powerful battle power, they didn't put normal true human rank cultivators in their eyes. However, Zhao Feng had too many things to rely on. The Deputy Patriarch's attention, his talent and potential, his unique eye bloodline, his fame that shook the country, and the treasures in his hands, all of this pushed his reputation and foundation to an even higher level. No! He had to stop him from reaching the true spirit realm. Everyone knew that every successful attempt to break through to the true spirit realm was influenced by luck, state of mind, spiritual core, and many other factors. As long as he successfully interrupts it once, the next time he wants to attack, he might not have the help of these factors, and the success rate will be greatly reduced. A trace of coldness flashed in Xue Sha's eyes. You're crazy. If the deputy sect master finds out, you'll lose a layer of skin even if you don't die. Chen Mingzhen was shocked. Humph. We can't let our own people do it. This requires external help. Xue Sha's face was cold. Borrowing external forces? Are you thinking of? A look of realization appeared on Chen Mingzhen's face. Recently, the Thousand Water Division hadn't faced any major crisis. The only problem was the dispute with the Yun branch family. The Yun branch family had charged into the Thousand Water branch's crystal mine and killed a member of the Iron Blood branch. If that brat wants to condense his source of true spirit, he will need around 10 more days. During this time, we can deal with the Yun family's branch family and blow things up. Once the two forces go to war, in that kind of big situation, he won't be able to stay out of it. Xue Sha licked his lips as a cruel expression appeared on his face. Chen Mingzhen thought for a while and nodded her head faintly. She had to admit that this was the best plan. They couldn't do it themselves and needed external help. That external help was the Yunside family and the Thousand Water chapter's biggest opponent. For the next 2 days, the conflict between the Iron Blood division and the Yunside family continued to expand. Neither side was willing to give way. The Iron Blood religion had always been tough, and since the Yunside family had killed someone, the Iron Blood religion obviously wouldn't let it go. This was the Iron Blood religion's way of doing things. Less than 3 days later, the battle between the Iron Blood religion and the Yunside family rose to another level. At the beginning, It was only between those at the Ascended Realm and at most the half-step True Spirit Realm. Then, experts at the True Human rank joined the battle. The two sides clashed and a few small skirmishes occurred which became more and more intense. On the fifth day, Shui Sha and Chen Mingjin also joined the battle and killed a True Human rank from the Yunside family and heavily injured two others. Then, the head of the Yunside family, a True Mystic rank expert, killed a True Human rank from the Iron Blood religion. The situation continued to expand. What's going on? Why is the Yun side cooperating with us? Shui Sha and Chen Mingjin were both surprised. In the past, the head of the Yun side family, a True Mystic rank expert, was getting old and didn't want to fight for power. Therefore, he usually tried to avoid conflict with the Iron Blood religion chapter. However, this time was extremely abnormal. First, the Yun side family killed someone. Then, the Iron Blood religion counterattacked and the Yun side family attacked. There was no need for Shui Sha and Chen Mingjin to plan. Everything was going too smoothly. Is there some sort of problem here? Why would a branch family of the Yun clan dare to clash with us?
Although they have a True Mystic rank expert, the two of us teaming up will win more than we lose. More importantly, our middle and lower tier instructors and spies are everywhere. Deputy Branch Leader Chen Mingjin felt uneasy. Reporting to Deputy Chapter Leader, the situation isn't good. The 100 Flower Chapter has ambushed our spies. Several female members were raped and their corpses were thrown in front of the chapter. A member at Half-Step True Spirit Realm hurriedly reported. 100 Flower Chapter. Shui Sha and Chen Mingjin's expressions changed dramatically and their hearts dropped. In this period of time, the 100 Flower Chapter's movements had been weird and one of the leading figures of this generation, the Fan-Flying Bandit, had obtained many benefits from the Water Moon Treasury, especially the Water Moon God Peach Fan. His strength had increased dramatically. The 100 Flower Chapter specialized in ambushing and using despicable methods to work with the Yun side family would pose a great danger to the Iron Blood Religion Chapter. The situation isn't good. Shui Sha and Chen Mingjin couldn't help but take a deep breath. On the same day, the Iron Blood Religion Chapter was attacked by the Yun side family and the 100 Flower Chapter. On the surface, there were many members of the Iron Blood Religion. They had their own plans in the open and in the dark. However, no one would have thought that the Yun side family would team up with the infamous 100 Flower Chapter. On the seventh day, the Iron Blood Religion's losses became greater and greater. If this continued, the 1000 Water Chapter would be in danger of being destroyed. If that bastard Zhao Feng is willing to apologize, the Yun side family can give up on attacking the Iron Blood Religion Chapter. A white-robed old man with a face full of vicissitudes floated in the air. His body was like a feather that was weightless. His chi of true spirit connected to the heaven and earth and gave off a powerful aura. Normal true human rank experts would feel their heart tremble when facing him and their chi of true spirit would become uneasy. This old white-clothed elder was the head of the Yun side family and an expert at the True Mystic rank. Have the chapter leader apologize. Our chapter leader has just taken over and hasn't even taken half a step out of the 1000 Water Chapter. When did we offend the Yun side family? Shui Sha and the others were baffled. They felt that something was wrong. Zhao Feng had just arrived at the 1000 Water Chapter. How did he cause such trouble? Your new chapter leader destroyed my grandson Yun Haiyang's arm in a spar at the flooding Lake City. Haiyang was once the top genius of a branch family of the Qianshui Yun family. Later, he was recommended to the main branch of the Yun family.
His future seemed limitless, but he was crippled by that brute and poisoned with a cold poison that almost caused his cultivation base to regress. Right now, he's recovering at home. The head of the Yun side family's voice was filled with coldness and anger. Hearing this, the people of the Iron Blood religion looked at each other in dismay. They had heard of Yun Haiyang before. He was the #1 genius of the Thousand Water Yun family and the grandson of the previous head. However, what was unexpected was that Yun Haiyang had such a grudge with the new chapter leader. Back at the flooding lake city, Yun Haiyang was jealous and challenged Zhao Feng to an archery duel. That battle was extremely dangerous and Zhao Feng didn't dare to let his guard down. He used his full strength to seal this brat in ice and destroy one of his arms. Luckily, the flooding lake city lord had saved him in time, or else Yun Haiyang would have turned into an ice sculpture. Afterwards, Yun Haiyang's injuries were unimaginable. The Luo Hobao's cold power clashed with his own power and created a poison that entered his bones and meridians. For the past half a year, Yun Haiyang had been bedridden and his cultivation had regressed. His potential had been greatly reduced and it would be hard for him to reach the true spirit realm. Coincidentally this time, the new chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion naturally wanted to know about such a key person. However, upon investigation, they found that this brat was the culprit behind his grandson's injuries. Zhao Feng. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for making too many enemies. You escaped the marriage in the flooding lake city, crippled my grandson and stole the Water Moon treasury of the 100 Flower chapter. If it wasn't for the fan-flying bandit's suggestion of working together and splitting the profits, I wouldn't have acted immediately. The head of the Yun family snickered coldly in his heart. The fan-flying bandit of the 100 Flower chapter had successfully refined the Water Moon God Peach Fan and was half a step into the true mystic rank. In terms of battle power, the fan-flying bandit wasn't any weaker than him and was even more vicious. Yun Sha's side was under a lot of pressure. This was because the Yun family and 100 Flower chapter were attacking at the same time and he had to deal with the Yun family. Chen Mingzhen was responsible for dealing with the 100 Flower chapter. Deputy chapter leader, things aren't good. Chapter leader Chen has been defeated and taken away by the fan-flying bandit. A figure flashed over. What? Chen Mingzhen had been kidnapped? Yun Sha took in a cold breath as cold sweat appeared on his back. He knew Chen Mingzhen's strength and she had fought against him for many years. Such a female expert had been defeated by the fan-flying bandit and taken away. Iron Blood chapter, hand over Zhao Feng within 3 days. The head of the Yun family said coldly. Thousand Water chapter, chapter leaders hall. Reporting to chapter leader, things aren't good. The Yun family and 100 Flower chapter have teamed up to attack the Thousand Water chapter. The 2 deputy chapter leaders want you to take charge. Someone came to report. Dai Yi stood at the entrance of the hall and didn't say anything. She was only responsible for protecting Zhao Feng. Fuck off. Zhao Feng only said one word. He thought in his heart that Yun Sha definitely wanted to ruin his chance to reach the true spirit realm. At this point in time, the source of true spirit within his dantian had started to form and was about the size of a thumb. When right at this moment in time, the situation changed. Within his dantian, the Water Moon Pirate's source of true spirit and Zhao Feng's source of true spirit formed a mysterious bridge. This source of true spirit was 10 times stronger than Zhao Feng's source of true spirit. A transparent stream of true spirit formed a book. Chapter 315. The Mystic Flower treasured Bible that had been destroyed by Zhao Feng in the Water Moon treasury had appeared in another form in the Water Moon Pirate's sealed source of true spirit. Water Moon Pirate, you still couldn't bear to let your secret art be lost and left behind such a method. Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye gazed at the book formed from the chi of true spirit and couldn't help but sigh. At this moment, he deeply felt the Water Moon Pirate's meticulous planning for 100 years without a single mistake. In that era, the Water Moon Pirate didn't have the strength to dominate the world, but he was able to roam the great country. Not only did he rely on strength and treasures, he also relied on his intelligence. Shua! Zhao Feng circulated his god's spiritual eye and scanned the book formed from the chi of true spirit. The contents of the book were copied by Zhao Feng. The god's spiritual eye had awakened many times and its power had become stronger. Even the Mystic Flower treasured Bible, which was comparable to a high-tier spiritual grade skill, was absorbed by Zhao Feng with a single glance. Soon, A book that represented the mystic flower treasured Bible appeared in his mind. Zhao Feng hastily scanned the contents of the mystic flower treasured Bible. In terms of skills, the mystic flower treasured Bible was close to the high-tier spiritual grade, but it was just an overview that had absorbed the 100-flower chapter and many other wicked skills. Simply put, this was an encyclopedia of the evil path's cultivation techniques. There were all kinds of secret arts, all of them the quintessence. Therefore, in terms of value, the mystic flower treasured Bible could be compared to Zhao Feng's lightning inheritance. The only difference was that the mystic flower treasured Bible couldn't help a cultivator reach the origin core realm, while the lightning inheritance had a certain chance of success. The mystic flower treasured Bible has a weird style and has countless methods. It specializes in speed and movement and can make up for some of the shortcomings of the lightning inheritance. This was the first time Zhao Feng had read the mystic flower treasured Bible and he was stunned. The lightning inheritance was more abstract and focused on intent. On the other hand, the mystic flower treasured Bible was very practical and could be used in any environment. Discard the dross and extract the essence. Zhao Feng made his decision. With the mystic flower treasured canon, he did not need other cultivation methods to supplement him. For the next 2 days, Zhao Feng concentrated on cultivating in seclusion. In the sky above the branch master's great hall, the lightning yuan qi gathered was several times denser than before. It even formed a certain amount of thunderclouds, its momentum horrifying. Just the aura from breaking through to the true spirit realm is several times stronger than normal. Dai stood guard outside the hall, her heart pounding. At this moment in time, the lightning clouds above the hall had already surpassed a normal early-stage true human ranks. According to normal classifications, those that had just stepped into the true human rank could only be considered at the beginning stages of the true human rank and would need a period of training to reach the early stages of the true human rank. There were 3 main reasons why Zhao Feng's aura was so strong when he broke through to the true spirit realm. Firstly, the lightning inheritance was very powerful. The power of lightning was one of the most powerful energies in the world, and it could basically restrain the majority of elemental energies. Secondly, Zhao Feng's mental energy level was high and his god's spiritual eye's source of mental energy was extremely strong. Thirdly, a part of the water moon pirate's purer source of true spirit had merged with Zhao Feng's. Apart from that, there was also the 3-flowered treasured lotus. Therefore, even though Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had just formed, it wasn't small and was still being refined. Boom! The clouds of lightning above the hall shook and then merged into Zhao Feng's source of true spirit and started to refine it. At a certain point in time, the lightning shadows that lingered in the sky quickly disappeared. Immediately after, a new aura of true spirit filled with a destructive aura spread across several miles. At that moment, everyone in the Iron Blood Religion chapter felt a shocking aura. He succeeded. Dai seemed to let go of a heavy burden as surprise flashed in her eyes. The aura of Zhao Feng breaking through to the true spirit realm was too strong. He had just broken through and was already giving off such a terrifying aura. On the continent, only a few supreme experts who had advanced in their cultivation would have such power that far surpassed ordinary people. For example, when the sword Saint Yi Wuxia reached the true spirit realm, a surge of sword chi shot into the sky and forced back several experts at the true spirit realm who were chasing him. According to the records, when the Scarlet Moon Religion Patriarch reached the true spirit realm, everything within 10 miles turned blood red. This was a bad omen. When Zhao Feng reached the true spirit realm, thunder could be heard within 10 miles and his body felt numb. Chapter Leader, Deputy Chapter Leader Chen has been kidnapped by the Fan-Flying Bandit. The head of the Yun family and the Fan-Flying Bandit have said that if Chapter Leader doesn't come out in 3 days, they'll destroy the Iron Blood Religion chapter. Outside the hall, a figure trembled as he kneeled on the ground. At this moment, when Zhao Feng had broken through to the true spirit realm, the aura of lightning was extremely strong and even normal true human rank experts would be shocked. Fuck off.
A thunderous voice sounded in the air like the voice of the god of thunder. Yes, yes. The half-step true spirit realm expert's soul almost flew out of his body. This new chapter leader's roar had almost caused his mind to collapse. Normal true human rank experts didn't have such power. He should need to consolidate his source of true spirit. It's not good for him to act now. Dai Yi thought in her heart. Inside the hall, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged. His blue hair was wild and his body was surrounded by arcs of azure lightning that were even thinner than spider webs. At the same time, on his forehead, a star-like lightning seal appeared and disappeared, just like the floating crest lightning seal that Zhao Feng had obtained in the floating crest palace. Dai Ye's guess was only half correct. Not only did Zhao Feng need to consolidate his source of true spirit, he also needed to strengthen it. Not only did he need to strengthen it, he also needed to consolidate the second floor of the lightning inheritance. Before, when he cultivated the lightning inheritance, he was restricted by his cultivation and had reached a bottleneck. Now that he had broken through to the true spirit realm, his sense of heaven-earth yuan qi had reached a whole new level and was even stronger than normal true human rank experts. Boom! Boom! Lightning flashed across the hall once more, and this time, it was even stronger than before. What's going on? Didn't he just reach the true spirit realm? Why is his aura increasing again? Dai Yi was filled with disbelief. In reality, Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had merged with the Water Moon Pirate's source of true spirit and was close to the early stage true human rank. One had to know that the Water Moon Pirate's cultivation had reached the peak true mystic rank and was half a step into the true lord rank. The source of true spirit he had left behind was obviously strong. Zhao Feng used the aura and senses of his breakthrough to enter the second floor of the lightning inheritance and summon the heaven-earth lightning yuan qi. At the same time, the Water Moon Pirate's source of true spirit helped him absorb the heaven-earth lightning yuan qi and strengthen Zhao Feng's source of true spirit. Time continued to pass by. The lightning yuan qi above the chapter leader's hall trembled violently, and the power was comparable to the true mystic rank. The rolling lightning clouds were 100 yards wide and condensed above Zhao Feng's head. At this point in time, normal true human rank experts didn't dare to get too close to Zhao Feng. If the terrifying lightning clouds landed, not only would Zhao Feng die, the nearby true spirit realm experts wouldn't be able to escape unscathed. When the three-flowered treasured lotus under Zhao Feng blossomed with transparent petals and increased the absorption of heaven-earth yuan qi. The three-flowered treasured lotus also increased Zhao Feng's cultivation.
There's only one day left. If Zhao Feng doesn't come out, then this beautiful deputy chapter leader will become our plaything. The robed fan-flying bandit laughed savagely. The Yunside family and 100 Flower chapter's forces completely locked down the 1000 Water chapter. Deputy chapter leader Chen Mingzhen was tied up by the 100 Flower chapter and her face was filled with humiliation and anger. The reason why she was captured wasn't because she wasn't strong enough, but because she had been poisoned by a unique fragrance that the fan-flying bandit had taken from the Water Moon treasury. At this point in time, the deputy chapter leader led the upper echelon of the chapter and didn't come out. The Yunside family and 100 Flower chapter didn't dare to be too ruthless. The Iron Blood religion was extremely powerful in the great country and had signs of suppressing the Imperials. The fan-flying bandit's main goal was to vent his anger and take back the treasure that belonged to him. The head of the Yunside family wanted to cry out for his crippled grandson. Behind the Yunside family was the Mainyun family. That Zhao Feng has obviously reached the true spirit realm and he still hasn't come out. The Yun Sha gritted his teeth in anger. At such a critical moment, Zhao Feng, the real 1000 Water chapter leader, was hiding in his shell. At this point in time, how would the Yun Sha have the time to plot against Zhao Feng? The 1000 Water chapter was in the biggest danger it had faced in the past 10 years and they had to use all of their forces to barely block the attacks from both sides. Time passed by slowly. The Yun Sha felt like a year and Chen Mingzhen, who was being held hostage, was also suffering. Bitterness appeared on the corner of their mouths. They had originally wanted to plot against Zhao Feng, but they had burned themselves by playing with fire. Not only had they failed to plot against Zhao Feng, they had even been brought to disaster by the latter. The Yun Sha fiends even suspected that this Zhao Feng was a jinx. Going to the flooding lake city to escape marriage, going to the transverse water stronghold to steal the transverse water stronghold, going to the canopy capital to kidnap Empress Qin. Now, he had come to the Thousand Water chapter and they hadn't even schemed against him, but they had already brought disaster upon themselves. The Yunside family and Hundred Flower chapter were all enemies of Zhao Feng. What made them angry was that the pressure that should have been borne by Zhao Feng was being borne by the two chapter leaders. It's almost noon. If Zhao Feng doesn't come out, we'll first humiliate this beautiful deputy chapter leader before killing our way into the Thousand Water chapter. The fan-flying bandit threatened. The Yun family had snickered coldly and raised his hand, preparing to charge into the Thousand Water chapter. The main Yun family was also one of the 8 super forces of the great country. It was hard for the main family and the main headquarters to support each other, or else the balance would be lost. Therefore, the Yun family head was only wary, but not afraid of the Iron Blood religion. Boom! Thunder exploded in the air above the Thousand Water chapter and everyone within 100 miles could see it. Many people felt their hearts become heavy and uneasy. At the same time, the lightning clouds above the chapter leader's hall dissipated. An azure lightning symbol appeared on Zhao Feng's forehead. Shwa! His figure disappeared from where he stood. A bolt of lightning streaked across the sky, dragging a beautiful arc of lightning behind it. Chapter leader has come out. Dai Yi smiled faintly and her voice spread everywhere. Chapter leader has come out. The entire Thousand Water division was shaken. Everyone stared at the bolt of lightning that tore through the dark clouds and pierced through the sky. Chapter 316. The Iron Blood Religion Chapter. The head of the Yun family and the fan-flying bandits group were in 2 different areas, blocking the entrance. These 2 factions, the righteous and evil, worked together in the open and in the dark to force the Thousand Water branch into this dangerous situation. If there wasn't any reinforcements, the Thousand Water chapter might be removed from the Thousand Water river. Yun Sha's heart was filled with anger and hatred. All of this was brought about by the new chapter leader. The face of the kidnapped deputy chapter leader, Chen Mingjin, was filled with sorrow and humiliation. The few hundred flowers gate thieves beside her looked at her with all kinds of evil intentions in their eyes. Their faces were filled with lewd smiles. As long as the fan-flying bandit gave the order, she couldn't imagine her fate. The sad thing was that the new chapter leader was in seclusion and didn't come out. The 2 originally wanted to lure the enemies to deal with Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng himself was a star of calamity. He had only been in the Thousand Water chapter for a few days and he had already brought such a disaster. This Zhao Feng has already reached the true spirit realm, but he still hasn't come out. If he and Dai Yi came to help, we would have 2 more experts at the true spirit realm and have a bit more hope. The more Yun Sha thought about it, the angrier he became. His anger couldn't be vented. He had sent people to invite the deputy chapter leader and Dai Yi several times, but the reply he got was only one word: fuck off. Right at this moment, a clap of thunder shook the sky. Chapter leader has come out. After the rumbling of thunder, a shadow of lightning streaked across the horizon like a magnificent ray of lightning. The Thousand Water chapter shook as the experts were attracted by the newly formed chi of true spirit. Within a radius of 10 miles, one could see that magnificent phantom of lightning. The experts at the true spirit realm from the 3 sides all spread out their spiritual senses. Zhao Feng, you're finally willing to come out. Yun Sha's anger couldn't be quelled. However, the fan-flying bandit and head of the Yun family's reactions were even more intense. Zhao Feng. The fan-flying bandit's voice trembled as he gritted his teeth. His eyes were filled with anger and hatred. It was an unforgettable hatred that would either kill him or he would live. You are that Zhao Feng, the one who ruined my grandson's future, the hope of my Qianshui Yun family. The Yun family patriarch's face was filled with grief, anger, and killing intent. The reactions of the 2 experts gave Yun Sha a fright. This was especially true for the fan-flying bandit, who wanted to devour Zhao Feng's flesh. Pong! The lightning figure that tore through the air was unbelievably fast. It carried a destructive aura as it descended from the sky. The expressions of those at the true spirit realm changed dramatically. This wasn't the aura of someone who had just broken through to the true spirit realm. Greetings, branch leader. Everyone in the Iron Blood Religion division bowed towards Zhao Feng. Shueisha secretly gritted his teeth, but he had to flatter him on the surface. Lord Branch Leader. The Yunside family and 100 Flower chapter have surrounded the division and the situation is extremely dangerous. We hope that Lord Branch Leader can lead us to destroy the enemy. He was very crafty, immediately putting a high hat on Zhao Feng's head. At that time, even if the 1000 Water chapter was destroyed, the cause would be Zhao Feng and the leader would be Zhao Feng. He wouldn't need to take any responsibility. The head of the Yun family and the fan-flying bandit felt the aura from Zhao Feng's body and their hearts shook. In the past, no matter how strong Zhao Feng was, he was only a brat at the Ascended Realm. However, now that he had broken through to the true spirit realm, it would be difficult to deal with him. Everyone, listen up. Zhao Feng's voice boomed in the minds of the upper echelon of the Iron Blood Religion division. This voice directly entered the mental energy dimension and was much more profound than normal spiritual senses. What a powerful mental energy aura! The upper echelon of the 1000 Water chapter trembled as they listened to the order. Deputy Chapter Leader Shueisha, when the battle starts, you will lead Elder Gao to stall and block the head of the Yun family. It will only take half the time it takes to make tea. If you fail, I'll hold you responsible. Zhao Feng's voice boomed like thunder. Yes, sir. Shueisha snickered coldly in his heart. From his point of view, this order was courting death. After Qinmengjin was captured, Shueisha and Elder Gao were the strongest in the chapter and together, they could fight against normal true mystic ranks for a while. Furthermore, the head of the Yun family was old and not at the peak true mystic rank. However, apart from the head of the Yun family, there was another big threat. That was the fan-flying bandit. From a certain perspective, the fan-flying bandit was the biggest threat. This bandit was half a step into the true mystic rank and had the Water Moon God Peach fan which had offensive power comparable to normal true mystic ranks. Furthermore, the fan-flying bandit was the leader of the 100 Flower chapter of the Wicked Path and had all kinds of methods that were hard to defend against. Qinmengjin had been accidentally hit. Understood. Deputy Chapter Leader Shueisha and I can barely complete the mission but the fan-flying bandit. Elder Gao was puzzled. Just do your job. I'll personally take care of the fan-flying bandit. Zhao Feng said expressionlessly. In just 1 or 2 breaths, Zhao Feng had finished his orders. His god's spiritual eye scanned across the scene. Although he had just arrived, his grasp of the situation was clearer than both sides. Ha ha ha, this brat thinks too highly of himself and thinks the fan-flying bandit is easy to deal with. Shueisha was overjoyed. If it was before, his chances of winning against the fan-flying bandit was around 6-4. This meant that the fan-flying bandit before wasn't Shueisha's match. But now, the fan-flying bandit had obtained the Water Moon God Peach fan and the treasures of the Water Moon Treasury. Now, even Shueisha didn't have a high chance of winning against the fan-flying bandit. Zhao Feng's decision made Shueisha overjoyed. The only worry was how to report back to the headquarters after the chapter was defeated. Zhao Feng, if you're willing to apologize, maybe there's a sliver of hope. The head of the Yun family said in a low tone with a cold expression. Ha ha ha. Zhao Feng. Even if you kowtow to me and hand over all the treasures, I won't let you go. The fan-flying bandit laughed wickedly and the Water Moon God Peach fan in his hand was surrounded by a layer of ice-blue water. The terrifying power was enough to instantly kill normal true human rank cultivators. Zhao Feng didn't bother with the fan-flying bandit and led the Iron Blood Religion chapter towards the Yunside family. So. Shueisha and Elder Gao followed the plan and charged towards the head of the Yunside family. In a short amount of time, they were confident they could stall this true mystic rank elder. However, They were curious why Zhao Feng was also charging towards the Yunside family. Wasn't he going to deal with the fan-flying bandit? Pong! Zhao Feng's figure suddenly became faint and a wave of azure lightning spread out in the air. A lightning figure quickly approached a true human rank elder of the Yunside family. His speed was extremely fast, and wherever he went, a powerful shockwave of electricity would paralyze a large number of middle-level experts of the Yun family branch family. Some of them were even charred black and on the verge of death. What a fast speed! I want to see the strength of this new branch leader. The heart of the Yun family elder shuddered, but he did not retreat. After all, he was an old true spirit realm expert and had reached the early stages of the true human rank. Why would he be afraid of a junior that had just reached the true spirit realm? The speed of Zhao Feng's cyan lightning figure suddenly increased, shocking the Yun family elder. How could he have known that Zhao Feng had concealed his speed earlier? In the lightning inheritance, he comprehended the power of lightning, which contained the profoundness of speed. Zhao Feng's previous speed had been slightly reserved, and he was now using the profoundness of the inheritance to increase his speed dramatically. The cyan lightning around Zhao Feng increased in power and instantly swept across a radius of 20 to 30 yards. Anyone under the true spirit realm would either be instantly killed or paralyzed and lose the ability to fight. The Yun family elder was caught off guard by Zhao Feng's sudden increase in speed and felt his body go numb. This numbness wasn't enough to make him lose the ability to fight back, but it could make him slightly slower. Blade of lightning. Zhao Feng condensed a 1-meter-long blade of lightning in his hand. The lightning vibrated at a high frequency, like a sharp chainsaw. It fiercely stabbed towards the true force layer that the Yun family elder had hastily activated. Zhao Feng's blade of lightning was extremely sharp and destructive. It had a numbing effect and was extremely fast as well. It instantly pierced through the Yun family elder's defense. Ah! The Yun family elder screamed as he was pierced by the blade of lightning. A black hole was left on his chest and his body went numb. After the lightning blade struck out, it instantly collapsed. The electricity was scattered, and its destructive power was further increased. Plop! A charred body was left on the ground. An early-stage true human rank Yun family elder had been slain by Zhao Feng. Those from the Yun side family took in a cold breath as their hearts trembled. Those that were about to attack Zhao Feng froze in their steps and felt their breathing and throats become blocked. The reason why the Yun family elder had lost so quickly was because he had underestimated Zhao Feng. Who would have thought that a junior that had just reached the true spirit realm would have such strong battle power? This Zhao Feng dares to ignore me. On the other side, the fan-flying bandit was enraged as his expression became cold and filled with hatred. Zhao Feng was his only target. He wanted to turn this brat into dust and take back the water moon treasury that belonged to him. From the start of the battle, he had locked onto Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng didn't even bother with him as if he was air and charged towards the Yun family. He roared and leapt towards Zhao Feng. He then watched as Zhao Feng clashed with the true spirit realm expert and was secretly overjoyed as he prepared to kill him from behind. However, he saw the scene of Zhao Feng killing the Yun family elder in one slash. The fan-flying bandit couldn't help but shake. Although the Yun family elder had underestimated Zhao Feng, the newly ascended Zhao Feng was several times more terrifying than he had imagined. Zhao Feng! Hurry up and die! The fan-flying bandit held the water moon god Peach Fan and was also extremely confident. After the defeat in the transverse water stronghold, he had used his unique skill to refine the water moon god Peach Fan and used some of the treasures in the water moon treasury to increase his strength. At this point in time, Zhao Feng turned around and smiled towards the fan-flying bandit. He obviously didn't ignore the fan-flying bandit. However, the fan-flying bandit who was the hardest to deal with in everyone else's eyes was actually easy to deal with in Zhao Feng's eyes. This was because he had grasped the fan-flying bandit's emotions and goal. After the defeat last time, the fan-flying bandit hated Zhao Feng to the core and this hatred had left a shadow in his heart. Therefore, Zhao Feng was certain that the fan-flying bandit would kill him at all costs. However, Zhao Feng didn't let him do as he wished and purposely ignored him. While he stalled the fan-flying bandit, he charged into the Yunside family and killed an elder. Killing an elder of the Yunside family wasn't aimlessly. This was part of Zhao Feng's plan. This was because there were several true human rank elders of the Yunside family and he needed to kill at least one of them in order to reduce the pressure on the Iron Blood religion branch. Chapter 317. Zhao Feng. Hurry up and die. The fan-flying bandit yelled coldly and finally stopped Zhao Feng with a cruel and hateful expression. Zhao Feng had comprehended the lightning inheritance and with the Yin shadow cloak, his speed was unparalleled. Only the head of the Yun family and the fan-flying bandit could match his speed. Being the direct disciple of the Water Moon Pirate, the fan-flying bandit specialized in speed. Chapter Leader, be careful. This bandit has countless methods. Dai Yi had heavily injured a true human rank from the other side and wanted to help Zhao Feng. Dai Yi's most important mission in this trip to the Thousand Water chapter was to help Zhao Feng and ensure his safety. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. Dai Yi's strength was much stronger than it seemed on the surface. She wasn't any weaker than Yun Sha and Chen Mingzhen. Dai Yi, go save Deputy Chapter Leader Chen Mingzhen. I can deal with this bandit. Zhao Feng's voice sounded in Dai Yi's mental energy dimension. Dai Yi was a little hesitant at first, but the new branch leader's voice echoed in her mind like thunder. There was an inviolable majesty to it. Good. Dai Yi turned around and leapt towards the 100 Flower chapter's side. Her goal was to save Chen Mingzhen. If the rescue was successful, the Iron Blood branch would have one more deputy branch leader level powerhouse. At that time, there would be a possibility of turning the tables. However, the 100 Flower chapter had one true human rank and two at half-step true spirit realm guarding Chen Mingzhen. As Dai Yi leapt over, she was also stopped by another true human rank. The most important point of the battle was still the battle between Zhao Feng and the fan-flying bandit. The head of the Yun family was temporarily stopped by Yun Sha and the fan-flying bandit. Dai Yi and the other experts were dealing with the 100 Flower chapter's experts and saving Chen Mingzhen. The two sides were in a stalemate. On the other hand, the enemy still had the fan-flying bandit who had terrifying methods. Once Zhao Feng couldn't stop him, it would be a one-sided situation. The fan-flying bandit's damage against normal true human rank cultivators was too great. Even the deputy chapter leader had been captured. At this moment, Zhao Feng and the fan-flying bandit faced each other as their chi of true spirit became stronger and stronger. The powerful aura and ripples made others unable to approach. The experts from the other forces were all secretly watching this crucial battle. Fan-flying bandit, you lost to me last time and lost an arm, but you still haven't changed. This time, I will cut off one of your arms and cripple your cultivation. Zhao Feng stood with his hands behind his back, his eyes flickering. How arrogant! The upper echelons of the 100 Flowers Gate, the Yun branch family, and the Iron Blood division were all shocked. From their point of view, Zhao Feng was the weaker party against the fan-flying bandit. From Zhao Feng's tone, it seemed like the fan-flying bandit had lost to him before. Is it real or fake? The new chapter leader defeated the fan-flying bandit and cut off one of his arms? It can't be, Zhao Feng just broke through to the true spirit realm, he was only at the transcending mortality realm. The other three forces were puzzled. Hearing Zhao Feng's words, the fan-flying bandit roared in anger. His face was filled with killing intent and he felt that he had lost all face. That day at the Transverse Water Bay, he had been tricked by Zhao Feng and defeated. This was the greatest humiliation of his life. And now, Zhao Feng had revealed this in front of everyone. The fan-flying bandit's angry expression surprised everyone. Could this be the truth? Die! The fan-flying bandit's killing intent exploded to the extreme and he trembled in anger. Hu Shua! He waved the water moon god peach fan in his hand and a terrifying ice blue fan shadow seemed to have the power to melt a 1,000,000-kilogram ice mountain. Everywhere it passed, the mountains would be flattened. The water moon immortal peach fan was, after all, the only offensive weapon of the Water Moon 4 treasures. Even those at the true mystic rank would be moved by this attack. Chiao! Zhao Feng's figure flashed and turned into lightning as the Yin shadow cloak on his back shook. Shua shua! Zhao Feng split into three. Three identical Zhao Fengs charged towards the fan-flying bandit from three different directions. This was the Yin shadow cloak's ability to create shadow doppelgangers. Now that Zhao Feng's cultivation had reached a high enough level, he could use the Yin shadow cloak's secret technique. Even the experts at the true spirit realm couldn't tell which of the three Zhao Fengs were real and which were fake. All of you, die! The fan-flying bandit waved his fan and its power increased, enveloping the three Zhao Fengs. Even three true human rank experts wouldn't be able to escape unscathed from the Water Moon God Peach Fan's attack. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two of the shadow doppelgangers were instantly destroyed when they neared the fan-flying bandit. The third Zhao Feng ran out of the range of the attack and ran off into the distance. Where do you think you're going? The fan-flying bandit licked his lips and soon chased after him. Whoosh! The third Zhao Feng was destroyed by the fan. The fan-flying bandit realized that the situation wasn't good. With Zhao Feng's strength, it was impossible for him to be killed by one fan. He had experienced the opponent's strength and schemes before. Shua! A three-colored lotus platform surrounded by petals appeared out of thin air on the other side with a blue-haired youth in tow. Don't forget that Zhao Feng's Yin shadow cloak had a strong concealment ability. The crowd went into an uproar as the upper echelon of the three forces exclaimed. Would Zhao Feng fight with the fan-flying bandit? Of course not. After a 360-degree turn, he threw off the fan-flying bandit and charged towards the 100-flower chapter. His goal was to save Qin Mingjin. Before, when Zhao Feng said that he had defeated the fan-flying bandit before, he acted as if victory was already in his grasp. In reality, he was trying to create a strong atmosphere. Under this atmosphere, who would have thought that he would run away? All of this was to get rid of the fan-flying bandit and make ample preparations. Wanting Zhao Feng to fight the fan-flying bandit head-on. He wasn't that dumb. This was a thankless task and wouldn't affect the big picture much, unless he could beat the fan-flying bandit in a short amount of time. However, the problem was that the fan-flying bandit had lost to Zhao Feng once before. Now that his battle power had increased greatly, he wouldn't underestimate his opponent. The same method wouldn't work. At this moment, Zhao Feng had successfully thrown off the fan-flying bandit and charged into the 100-flower chapter's formation. Ripple of lightning. Boom! An azure ripple of lightning appeared on Zhao Feng's body and spread in all directions. Those below the true spirit realm were instantly killed. With Zhao Feng's help, Dai Yi successfully reached Qin Mingjin. The rescue plan was slowly approaching success. Everyone on the Iron Blood Branch's side was filled with anticipation. If you take another step forward, I'll kill him. A true human rank expert from the 100-flower chapter grabbed Qin Mingjin's neck and threatened. Dai Yi's footsteps froze and she didn't know whether to advance or retreat. Zhao Feng, don't think you'll succeed. The fan-flying bandit leapt over from behind. Zhao Feng calculated the time and distance before ordering Dai Yi, kill your way over and save her. Dai Yi was slightly hesitant, but she couldn't disobey Zhao Feng's order and leapt towards Qin Mingjin. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood Religion chapter's expression changed. Does chapter leader not care about the vice-chapter leader's safety? The enemy had a true human rank expert that held Qin Mingjin's life. If they tried to force their way in, the enemy would kill Qin Mingjin without mercy. Am I going to die here? This new chapter leader is so heartless. A trace of bitterness appeared on the corner of Qin Mingjin's mouth, and her face was filled with sorrow. Zhao Feng's emotionless order chilled the hearts of the members of the Iron Blood Religion chapter. Only the fan-flying bandit suddenly thought of something and his expression changed. Kill that woman. He had fought with Zhao Feng before and knew how terrifying this youth was. However, his warning was too late. Zhao Feng stood on the three-flowered treasured lotus and looked down. His faint blue left eye was like a freezing pond. An invisible coldness seeped through the air and into the mental energy world. Ah! The true human rank expert that was holding Chen Mingjun shivered when he met Zhao Feng's gaze. Immediately following that, he felt Zhao Feng's left eye turn into an icy abyss that drowned his consciousness. After reaching the true spirit realm, the power of Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye had increased dramatically. Plop! The true human rank expert that was holding Chen Mingjun was drenched in sweat. His eyes were filled with fear and shock. He had no energy left in his mind and couldn't control his body. This scene stunned everyone present. Everyone only saw Zhao Feng's left eye glance at the true human rank expert and cause him to instantly crumble and fall. Immediately following that, in half a breath's time, the two half-step true spirit realm experts next to Chen Mingjun fell to the ground and fainted. What a terrifying eye bloodline! The head of the Yun family who was in the middle of the battle took in a cold breath. Yun Sha, Elder Gao and the upper echelon of the Iron Blood Religion chapter were dazed. Chen Mingjun, who was the person in question, was dazed as her eyes bulged out. This is the chapter leader's eye bloodline. Dai Yi was dazed for an instant before coming back to her senses and successfully saving Chen Mingjun. Hua! The members of the Iron Blood Religion chapter reacted and exclaimed. Once Chen Mingjun, the deputy branch leader, was rescued, the situation of the battle would definitely be reversed. With the addition of Zhao Feng, killing the true human rank experts, throwing off the fan-flying bandit and saving Chen Mingjun only took 10 breaths. In other words, in just 10 breaths, Zhao Feng had changed the situation. Zhao Feng, it's useless even if you save her. She's been hit by my heaven fragrance softening. Not only will she lose her battle power for 3 days, her bones will also soften into mud. The fan-flying bandit's wicked laughter shook the entire battlefield. How could he not have thought of a backup plan when he wanted to threaten Chen Mingjun? Heaven fragrance softening? Information from the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. The Mystic Flower Treasured Bible could be said to be the culmination of the wicked path and had absorbed the essence of the entire 100-flower chapter. Come! Bring me poison spider liquid, curved stone, a bucket of horse urine, ice-cold pills and 10 other cold elemental spiritual pills. Zhao Feng ordered. Yes, chapter leader. Although the people of the Iron Blood Religion chapter didn't understand, they still followed the chapter leader's orders. However, as soon as Zhao Feng gave the order, the fan-flying bandit's expression changed dramatically. How is this possible? You know the antidote for the heaven fragrance softening? This is a secret of the 100-flower chapter. The Iron Blood Religion had many disciples and the ingredients that Zhao Feng gave were all very common. In less than 10 breaths, all the ingredients were gathered. Poison liquid, ice-cold pills, curved stone and other common plants were all mixed into the horse urine and splashed onto Chen Mingjun. Chen Mingjun felt her soft bones become stronger and she was overjoyed. At this moment, Zhao Feng was facing the furious counterattack of the fan-flying bandit. Chapter 318. Zhao Feng was expressionless as he activated the defense of the three-flowered treasured lotus, forming 3 colored petals around him. Now that he had reached the true spirit realm, the three-flowered treasured lotus's power had increased greatly. Lightning beam. Balls of lightning the size of an arm shot out from Zhao Feng's palm towards the fan-flying bandit. Although these balls of lightning weren't as sharp as the blade of lightning, they had a strong momentum and destructive power that was suitable for a head-on clash. However, facing the fan-flying bandit this time, it would be a tough battle. The fan-flying bandit had planned against Zhao Feng, so how could he not have made preparations? Crack! Crack! The water moon god peach fan in his hand turned into an umbrella shape and spun at a high speed, easily dispelling Zhao Feng's lightning. The water moon god peach fan could turn into an umbrella shape, but its weakness was that it could only defend one side, unlike the three-flowered treasured lotus. Last time in the transverse water stronghold, the fan-flying bandit didn't even think about defending because he had suppressed the entire battlefield. It was only because he had underestimated his opponent that he was tricked by Zhao Feng. Furthermore, this time, the three-flowered treasured lotus hypnotic and aphrodisiac fragrance had a much lower effect on the fan-flying bandit. In the last battle, the three-flowered treasured lotus hypnotic fragrance had made the fan-flying bandit more tired, which was then found by Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye. Therefore, the fan-flying bandit had returned to the sect and created an antidote that had 60 to 70% resistance against the three-flowered treasured lotus. Not only have I created an antidote, I've also prepared a rare soul treasure that can increase one's resistance against mental energy. The fan-flying bandit's eyes were filled with smugness. Zhao Feng's three-flowered treasured lotus had a strong fragrance, so he had created an antidote. Zhao Feng's mental energy was strong, so he had prepared a soul treasure. The fan-flying bandit can already use the true power of the water moon god Peach Fan. He has both offense and defense and doesn't need to be afraid of normal true human rank experts. Furthermore, he's come prepared this time. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. Like this, his and the fan-flying bandit's offense, defense, and speed were all perfect. The fan-flying bandit had the water moon god Peach Fan, so his offense was naturally stronger. However, the problem was that Zhao Feng had the three-flowered treasured lotus, so his defense was stronger. In terms of speed and movement techniques, both sides were equally matched. As time went on, the battle between Zhao Feng and the fan-flying bandit became even more intense. Lightning flashed in every direction, creating a shocking scene. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye and used a mental illusion technique. Buzz! A Buddhist bead on the fan-flying bandit's chest let out a mysterious glow as the chanting of scriptures entered his ears. The fan-flying bandit's body shook as cold sweat appeared on his forehead as he struggled over. How could Zhao Feng not find a flaw in his mental illusion technique? Even though the fan-flying bandit had a soul Dao treasure, he almost fell for it. Soul path treasures were extremely rare, and there were strong and weak ones. The fan-flying bandit's soul path treasure was equivalent to peak mortal grade. Damn it, the fan-flying bandit felt troubled. His water moon god Peach Fan was extremely powerful and had many wicked methods. Even peak true human rank opponents would be defeated by it. However, Zhao Feng had the three-flowered treasured lotus and his god's spiritual eye, which countered all his methods. In reality, the water moon god Peach Fan could also use mental illusions. As a wicked item, its purpose was to complement the perfume and poison. However, the fan-flying bandit had tried this mental illusion technique before, and although it worked on others, it had no effect on Zhao Feng. Right at this moment, Qinmingzhen of the Iron Blood Religion chapter had recovered and entered the battlefield. Qinmingzhen was grateful to Zhao Feng and wanted to help deal with the fan-flying bandit. Go and help the others. Zhao Feng's voice sounded in her mind. Yes, chapter leader. Qinmingzhen looked respectfully at Zhao Feng. Only when this youth saved her did Qinmingzhen feel the terrifying power of his eye bloodline. At this moment, Zhao Feng had successfully stopped the fan-flying bandit. If it was her or Yun Sha, they wouldn't have been able to do this. With the addition of Qinmingzhen, the situation started to turn. Qinmingzhen and Da Yi were both deputy chapter leaders and successfully killed or heavily injured 2 or 3 true human rank experts. Then, Qinmingzhen joined Yun Sha's battle and suppressed the head of the Yun family. The head of the Yun family roared in anger and helplessly led his men to retreat. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Saving Qinmingzhen was indeed the key to turning the situation around. After the Yun side family retreated, the 100-flower chapter's morale dropped and they were killed by Da Yi and company. Chapter leader. I'll lend you a hand. Da Ye's arms waved a pair of butterfly blades as she joined Zhao Feng's battle. In terms of battle power, Da Yi wasn't weaker than Yun Sha or Qinmingzhen and wasn't much weaker than the fan-flying bandit. Zhao Feng teamed up with Da Yi to suppress the fan-flying bandit. Zhao Feng, if you have the skills, let's fight one-on-one. The fan-flying bandit roared as his lungs were about to explode. He didn't want Zhao Feng to turn the situation around under this situation. If the same situation happened a second time, it would be humiliating. Zhao Feng had also used 70 to 80% of his bloodline power, and a layer of cold blue lines appeared on his skin. With the addition of his bloodline power, each of his attacks seemed to contain a coldness that filled the soul. While his power increased, his intent also attacked the soul. The fan-flying bandit was slightly tired after fighting for so long. Although he had a soul treasure, Zhao Feng's mental energy illusions were too strong. In terms of mental energy, Zhao Feng was many times stronger than those at the same cultivation. It was just that most of it was in a passive state and couldn't be used. With the addition of Dai Yi, Zhao Feng would also use mental energy illusions when he had time. The god's spiritual eye scanned over the experts near the 100-flower chapter. Plop! Plop! Another true human rank and several experts at half-step true spirit realm knelt on the ground and were killed by the Iron Blood Religion chapter. The situation of the battle was one-sided. Zhao Feng's strength wasn't the strongest here, but it affected every corner of the battlefield. The Iron Blood Religion chapter's counterattack. The 100-flower chapter was defeated. The Yun side family ran away. Zhao Feng and Dai Yi were responsible for killing the fan-flying bandit. The fan-flying bandit was enraged. Zhao Feng and Dai Yi's combined attacks had already injured him. Fan-flying bandit, I've said before that I'll cut off your other arm and cripple your cultivation. Zhao Feng exclaimed coldly as he fought more and more fiercely. His source of true spirit was starting to form, and it wasn't any weaker than those at the early stages of the true human rank. He also had his bloodline power, God's spiritual eye and lightning inheritance. Furthermore, Zhao Feng also had the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible, which allowed him to counter the fan-flying bandit's wicked methods. The fan-flying bandit gritted his teeth and closed the water moon god Peach Fan with a thpa-la. Cho, 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 7 deadly weapons were shot out from the water moon god Peach Fan. In the air, the 7 weapons were darts, poison needles, rain needles. All sorts of weapons crossed each other. Each weapon's speed was extremely fast and surpassed the speed of sound. Their screeching sounds almost surpassed the reaction speed of those at the true human rank. Under normal situations, one weapon alone had the chance to kill a true human rank. In theory, the 7 hidden weapons could kill a true mystic rank cultivator. Not good. Dai Yi barely managed to dodge 3 arc darts, and the other poison needle almost brushed past her hair. There was also a terrifying storm of needles, like a drizzle, covering the sky and earth. Shwa shwa. With the sound of lightning, Zhao Feng flew over and pulled Dai Yi into the 3-flowered treasured lotus. Ding ding poo, with the 3-flowered treasured lotus' strong defense, it barely blocked the attacks of the weapons. Zhao Feng was also shocked, but luckily his reaction was fast enough. If not, he would be able to keep his life, but Dai Yi would be in danger. Thanks. Dai Yi stuck out her tongue and felt fear. Using this time, the fan-flying bandit flew through the air with a face full of hatred and unwillingness. He originally thought that the 7 weapons would be able to heavily injure or kill Dai Yi. However, Zhao Feng's reaction was too fast, and the instant the fan-flying bandit used his weapons, he saw through it. Fan-flying bandit, you won't be able to escape from us. Zhao Feng's laughter thundered through the air and could be heard from dozens of miles away. He had the 3-flowered treasured lotus, which helped him fly faster and used less true force. Furthermore, Dai Yi's true force could be injected into the 3-flowered treasured lotus to increase its speed. Zhao Feng and Dai Yi's speed was much faster than the fan-flying bandit, and they chased after him. The fan-flying bandit was in a ruffled state and had used up a lot of his true force. His mental energy was exhausted, and there were several wounds on his body. His face was burnt black and his hair was smoking. The most troublesome thing was that Zhao Feng would find a flaw and use his mental energy technique every few moments, causing the fan-flying bandit to almost fall for it. Because of this, his mental energy was exhausted and he didn't have the heart to fight anymore. Unfortunately, I don't have a strong long-range weapon. Zhao Feng was slightly regretful. The Luoho Bao was only a mortal-grade weapon and didn't pose much of a threat to the fan-flying bandit. Chapter Leader, the fan-flying bandit won't be able to last long. Dai Yi smiled faintly. At this point in the battle, the fan-flying bandit was exhausted and he had used up more true force than Zhao Feng and Dai Yi. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng found a chance and opened his god's spiritual eye to use his mental energy technique again. The tired fan-flying bandit's resistance had decreased and the mysterious glow of the prayer beads on his chest had dimmed. Shwa! The fan-flying bandit's mind shook and his consciousness was pulled away. Shwa! In the next instant, a blade of lightning condensed in Zhao Feng's hand and appeared next to the fan-flying bandit. Ah! Before the fan-flying bandit could react, his remaining arm was cut off by Zhao Feng's blade of lightning and blood splattered everywhere. Along with the arm, the water moon god Peach Fan also fell. The water moon god Peach Fan and the three-flowered treasured lotus were a perfect match. Zhao Feng's heart moved and he was about to take action. Meow meow. The little thieving cat jumped out and snatched the water moon immortal Peach Fan in a flash. My god Peach Fan. The fan-flying bandit's eyes were bright red but he couldn't care too much. He burned his chi of true spirit and pushed Zhao Feng away before leaping towards the little thieving cat. Meow meow. The little thieving cat flashed and disappeared. At this point in time, the fan-flying bandit who had lost both his arms couldn't increase his battle power even if he burned his chi of true spirit. Zhao Feng immediately returned to the three-flowered treasured lotus in case the fan-flying bandit tried to self-destruct. However, he had overestimated the fan-flying bandit. Run! The fan-flying bandit only wanted to live and didn't mind burning his chi of true spirit to double his speed. Chapter 319. Although the fan-flying bandit's strength was comparable to normal true mystic ranks, he didn't have the courage to die together with them. He, who'd lost both his arms, was like a bachelor. His heart was filled with despair, and he only had the thought to drag out an ignoble existence to survive. Fan-flying bandit, this is the second time you've come. I've said before that I'll cut off one of your arms and cripple your cultivation. Zhao Feng said emotionlessly as his three-flowered treasured lotus chased after the fan-flying bandit. The fan-flying bandit had burned his chi of true spirit and his speed had surpassed the true human rank and was even slightly faster than normal true mystic ranks. The distance between Zhao Feng and the fan-flying bandit was slowly increasing. Unfortunately, I don't have a strong long-range weapon. Zhao Feng felt slightly regretful. The Luoho Bao's power wasn't enough against the peak true human rank fan-flying bandit. Chapter Leader, the 100-flower chapter has lost and the fan-flying bandit has lost both his arms. He's no longer a threat. If we keep chasing, I'm afraid. Dai Yi warned. From her point of view, forcing the fan-flying bandit to this point was already a good result. Zhao Feng understood Dai Yi's meaning. The reason why the fan-flying bandit didn't have the determination to die together was because he still had a sliver of life. If he didn't even have this sliver of life, the fan-flying bandit would burn his chi of true spirit and most likely choose to die together. I can keep him hanging. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. His god's spiritual eye could see 1,000 miles away and he could keep the distance. He just needed to wait for the fan-flying bandit to run out of true force. Soon, the fan-flying bandit disappeared from sight. However, Zhao Feng was still able to lock onto his target without panicking. No wonder. Dai Yi's heart moved as she met Zhao Feng's cold left eye. She felt as if her heart had been pierced. Zhao Feng's eye bloodline couldn't be judged by normal standards. Its tracking ability was top tier. The fan-flying bandit had betrayed him the entire way but he felt a coldness in his heart. It was as if there was an eye looking down on him. His heartbeat quickened, and he felt as though his blood was about to freeze. Boundless pressure came from the top of his head, and he felt like he was about to collapse. He suddenly turned his head and saw an eye of heaven coldly looking down at him. Whoosh! His eyes blurred. The eye of heaven just now was just a mental illusion. If his senses weren't wrong, then his opponent's eye bloodline was too terrifying. It had the power to rival the heavens and earth. What just happened? Zhao Feng jumped up in fright. He had pushed his god's spiritual eye to the extreme to lock onto the fan-flying bandit and exert mental energy pressure. At a certain moment, he felt that his consciousness had jumped out of his body and was high up in the clouds, overlooking the world. At that moment, he seemed to stand side by side with the heavens and the earth, overlooking all living beings and ruling over the ages. If it's just an illusion, why did I consume 10% of my mind source in an instant? Zhao Feng was shocked. Half the time it took to make tea later, the fan-flying bandit's chi of true spirit stopped burning and he was exhausted. Zhao Feng maintained 100 miles distance from him. The fan-flying bandit's eyes and spiritual sense weren't able to reach this far. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two sounds of something tearing through the air could be heard from the mountain range ahead. A male and a female entered the fan-flying bandit's vision. When did they catch up to me? Impossible, definitely impossible. The fan-flying bandit panicked. He had clearly burned his chi of true spirit to fly, how could they catch up? Looking closely, the fan-flying bandit let out a breath. The newcomer was a male and female, but they weren't Zhao Feng or Dai Lan. One of them was a young man that wore an azure cloud battle robe. His face was white like a piece of carved jade, and he was extraordinarily handsome. He carried an ancient blade with an azure edge on his back. Beside the young man was a young girl in a red robe. She had clear eyebrows and red lips. Zhao Feng also saw the male and female through his god's spiritual eye. The battle-robed youth had reached the early stages of the true human rank and was around 30 years old. Could this youth be the #1 genius of the main Yun family, Tian Yunji, who has the bloodline of both the Tian and Yun families and is ranked 3rd on the country's new star rankings? The fan-flying bandit's eyes scanned across the battle-robed youth and his heart jumped as he tried to dodge. The male and female were riding a flying beast and passed by the fan-flying bandit. Brother, that person's in a bad state. Both his arms have been cut off. Is there someone chasing after him? The red-robed girl said unwillingly. Hearing this, the fan-flying bandit's heart jumped to his throat. The battle-robed youth couldn't help but look at the fan-flying bandit again. Wait! A cold and clear voice suddenly sounded. The fan-flying bandit's body froze as he forced a smile. What do you two want? The battle-robed youth turned around and coldly inspected the fan-flying bandit. He felt that this bandit was familiar. Furthermore, when they passed each other just then, the other seemed to be uneasy. The battle-robed youth furrowed his eyebrows. Are you from the 100-Flower chapter? Nope. How could I be a bandit from the 100-Flower chapter? I'm an elder of the Yunside family. Because I fought with the Iron Blood chapter, I lost. If you two can help me block the enemies behind me, I will be extremely grateful. The fan-flying bandit pretended to be calm as he suddenly had an idea. If he remembered correctly, the Yun and Tian families had a good relationship. This was especially so for the new star of this generation, Tian Yunji. He was a genius born from the combination of the Tian and Yun bloodlines. The battle-robed youth in front of them was Tian Yunji. The fan-flying bandit had met him once before. What? The Iron Blood chapter is fighting with the Thousand Water Yun family? We're about to go to the Yunside family. The red-robed girl was shocked. Looks like we're all friends. Can you two help me block the enemy? The fan-flying bandit had a pitiful expression as he begged. Brother Tian, can you help him? The red-robed girl couldn't bear it and begged. However, the battle-robed Tian Yunji's expression became colder and colder. Little bandit, die. A cold and domineering voice shook the clouds. In the next instant, an azure blade came out of its sheath and a beam of azure light shot through the air. An invisible blade intent enveloped the fan-flying bandit. Sky Cloud Blade Drawing Technique. Blade intent, no. The fan-flying bandit's face was filled with fear. His battle intent had been extinguished by the invisible blade intent and he couldn't even think of resisting. If he was at his peak and had the water moon god Peach Fan, he could still fight back. However, at this moment, he didn't even have the thought to fight back. Shwa! The azure blade light was like a rainbow that pierced through the clouds. Blade intent. The embryonic form of blade intent has almost become true blade intent. 100 miles away, Zhao Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath as he stood on the three-flowered treasured lotus. Sword intent and blade intent were both mental energy intents. The former came from the sword user while the latter came from the blade user. Back at the alliance banquet of the 13 clans, Zhang Yue had comprehended sword intent and could beat almost all her opponents with one sword. Even Zhao Feng had almost lost. Shwa! The fan-flying bandit's body was sliced in half. Humph! The infamous fan-flying bandit. 3 years ago, you bullied a sister of mine in the main branch of the Yun family. Although I've never personally seen you, your portrait was plastered all over Heaven Luo City. Tian Yunji harumphed coldly. He's the disciple of the famous water moon pirate, the fan-flying bandit? The red-robed girl's face was filled with fear. It was no wonder that Tian Yunji had killed him with one slash without hesitation. The 100-Flower chapter was a wicked sect and the methods of its disciples were extremely terrifying and hard to defend against. If some disciples had a powerful soft fragrance poison, they could even ambush those at the true spirit realm. If even disciples were like this, then there was no need to mention the fan-flying bandit. A while later, Zhao Feng stood on the three-flowered treasured lotus and saw Tian Yunji and the red-robed girl. Thank you for killing this bandit. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and clasped his fists. He didn't know Tian Yunji and the other girl, but the enemy of an enemy was a friend. Furthermore, Tian Yunji's strength and comprehension made Zhao Feng admire him. Three-flowered treasured lotus? Who are you? Tian Yunji's expression was cold as he inspected Zhao Feng and Dai Yi. Zhao Feng had the three-flowered treasured lotus and the water moon god Peach Fan, which made Tian Yunji suspicious. Tian Yunji, don't be arrogant. This is the new chapter leader of the Iron Blood Religion chapter. If we didn't help, you wouldn't have been able to kill the bandit so easily. Dai Yi harumphed coldly. Tian Yunji was one of the 10 stars of the country and the top genius of the main branch of the Tian family. Chapter leader? Tian Yunji's heart jumped. He obviously knew how strong the Iron Blood religion was. However, this was the first time he had seen such a young chapter leader. Could it be, you're that Zhao Feng? The unlucky youth that escaped the marriage in the flooding lake city and kidnapped the princess. Tian Yunji's eyes flickered as a strong battle intent rose within him. At this moment, both Tian Yunji and Zhao Feng were famous geniuses in the country. Tian Yunji was one of the 10 stars and there was no need to talk about him. Although Zhao Feng wasn't on the list, his deeds had shocked the country. Escaping the marriage in the flooding lake city, kidnapping Empress Qin and becoming the youngest chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion. All of these achievements made the other geniuses pale in comparison. Chapter leader, be careful. This Tian Yunji is the top genius of the main branch of the Yun family. He has the bloodline of both the Tian and Yun families and has comprehended the embryonic form of blade intent. His battle power is unparalleled. Dai Yi secretly messaged Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng nodded his head and said a few words to Tian Yunji before turning around and heading back to the chapter. Right now, the chapter needed him to stabilize the situation. Brother Tian, you clearly wanted to challenge him. Why did you give up? Are you afraid of him? The red-robed girl giggled. Afraid of him? I, Tian Yunji, have never been afraid of anyone in the same generation. However, his bloodline and his eyes made my bloodline power feel pressure that I had never felt before. Since he's in such a hurry, we'll have a chance to spar next time. Tian Yunji said. Are you sure you'll have a chance in the future? He's a chapter leader and has many things to deal with. The red-robed girl seemed to like arguing with him. Such a peak genius can make my bloodline feel pressured. The Iron Blood religion will definitely recommend him to the sacred True Dragon Gathering. There's also that Xian Wuheng from the 10,000 Origin clan. He beat me with one hand a year ago, but I have to thank him for igniting the potential of my blade intent. All my glory will be shown in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. Forget it, Xian Wuheng is already a miracle star in the northern continent. Half a year ago, he fought with the head disciple of the Heavenly Yuan clan, Mo Tianyi, and only lost by half. Mo Tianyi was one of the top 10 geniuses in the last sacred True Dragon Gathering. Chapter 320. On the way back. Zhao Feng touched the ancient and elegant fan in his hand while the little thieving cat sat on his shoulder and asked for credit. Chapter leader, now that you have both the Water Moon God Peach fan and the three-flowered treasured lotus, you're truly unrivaled amongst those of the same cultivation and can even fight against normal true mystic ranks. Dai Yi smiled and congratulated. Of the Water Moon 4 treasures, the Water Moon God Peach fan was used for offense while the three-flowered treasured lotus was used for defense. This attack and defense was the perfect partner. What no one knew was that Zhao Feng had also inherited the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible. This Water Moon Immortal Peach fan is truly exquisite. It contains 7 storage compartments that can store 7 kinds of powerful hidden weapons. It's hard to guard against them. Zhao Feng had the Water Moon Pirate's inheritance, and his understanding of the Water Moon 4 treasures wasn't any weaker than any of the 100 Flower Chapter disciples. The Water Moon God Peach fan could even turn into an umbrella in an emergency. What made Zhao Feng happy was that the Water Moon God Peach fan could use mental energy illusions and increase the effect of mental energy attacks. All in all, after obtaining the Water Moon God Peach fan, Zhao Feng no longer had any weaknesses. On the way, Zhao Feng sat on the three-flowered treasured lotus and started to refine the Water Moon God Peach fan. The Water Moon Immortal Peach fan was essentially a type of inheritance divine weapon. It required a special cultivation technique or bloodline to refine. Zhao Feng had the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible and had his own way to refine it. An hour later, Zhao Feng and Dai Yi returned to the Iron Blood chapter. At this point in time, Zhao Feng had refined 60 to 70% of the Water Moon God Peach fan. Normal weapons didn't need to be refined and only needed to be compatible with the weapon. Inheritance divine weapons were a little more special. Many of them had to meet the corresponding requirements. Chapter leader. The 100 Flower chapter and Yunside family have both been defeated and suffered heavy losses. Chapter leader. We've captured 2 experts at the True Spirit Realm and 9 at Half-Step True Spirit Realm from the 100 Flower chapter and Yunside family. This time, the 100 Flower chapter has suffered heavy losses and will be removed from the 1000 Water River area. The Yun family's branch family has suffered great losses and is powerless to contend against us. As Zhao Feng sat in the main seat of the conference hall, the people below sent him exciting news. Shui Sha and Chen Mengzhen, the 2 deputy branch leaders, sat on either side of Zhao Feng with complicated expressions in their eyes. Chen Mengzhen's face was filled with admiration and gratitude. She no longer dared to have any other thoughts towards Zhao Feng. Shui Sha was unwilling, but it was replaced by more fear. Everyone could see that it was this new branch leader who had turned the tide, resolved the crisis, and defeated the Yun branch family and the 100 Flowers Gate. Zhao Feng's gaze swept across the entire hall, and the entire hall fell silent. Everyone could feel the sharpness and coldness of the division leader's mysterious left eye. There was an indescribable mental pressure. Shui Sha, lead a group of people and chase after the remnants of the 100 Flowers Gate. At the very least, chase them out of the 1000 Waters region. Chen Mengzhen, you will be responsible for guarding the branch and monitoring the movements of the Yun branch family and other forces. If there is any abnormal reaction, report to me immediately. Zhao Feng's expression was cold as he gave out the orders. Now that the situation had been decided, he needed to be steady. Stability was more important than anything else. I've just broken through to the True Spirit Realm and have just become the 1000 Water chapter leader. I need to stabilize the situation and increase my strength. Zhao Feng had his own plan. Today, Zhao Feng had just come out of seclusion, so he had held back his strength and hadn't truly unleashed it. For example, his bloodline power hadn't been pushed to the limit, and his source of true spirit hadn't been furiously circulated. This was to stabilize his cultivation, and he also wanted to leave some backup plans. As long as Zhao Feng was given some time to completely refine the water moon god peach fan, consolidate his source of true spirit, and absorb the essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible to complement his lightning inheritance, his strength would definitely reach another level. On the same day, the Iron Blood chapter chased after the remnants of the 100 Flowers Gate. Within half a month, the 100 Flowers Gate was almost annihilated. Only a small number of people managed to escape from the Thousand Water region. This was only because Zhao Feng gave face to the Water Moon Pirate and didn't kill them all. In this period of time, the other small forces of the Thousand Water region saw the changes in the situation and were all extremely careful. Qin Mengzhen was responsible for defending and controlling the movements of the other forces. At the same time, after half a month, Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had completely stabilized, and in terms of cultivation, it wasn't any weaker than those at the early stages of the true human rank. The water moon god peach fan had been successfully refined by Zhao Feng, and he knew how to use it. With the water moon god peach fan, Zhao Feng didn't need a weapon in close combat, so he gave the mystic snake blood whip to the little thieving cat. In terms of value, the mystic snake blood whip was close to the water moon god peach fan, but it was better at supporting and killing the enemy. It could absorb the enemy's blood essence to increase the whip's power. Meow meow. The little thieving cat was slightly excited as it played around with the mystic snake blood whip. Last time, it had controlled the whip to hold Empress Qin hostage. Zhao Feng nodded his head in satisfaction. Only now did he come out of seclusion. His body's situation had stabilized. The comprehension of the mystic flower treasured Bible and the lightning inheritance complementing each other was a long process. The lightning inheritance itself was a complete inheritance system. It leaned towards theory and abstraction. Although the profound meaning of power was strong, the practical application and transformation were its weaknesses. On the other hand, the mystic flower treasured Bible contained the essence of the wicked inheritance, such as the 100 Flower chapter. Its speed and techniques were all unique and suited to practical use. Chapter leader, the remaining members of the 100 Flower chapter have been cleared out and chased out of the Thousand Water River area. Yun Sha reported. Zhao Feng didn't ask about the 100 Flower chapter anymore and was no longer a threat to the Thousand Water chapter. However, the Yun branch family, the Bai branch family, and other forces were still strong opponents of the Thousand Water branch. After all, the Thousand Water chapter had also lost a lot in this battle. Chapter leader. After the Yun side family was defeated, two people from the main Tian family came to visit their family. One of them was the number one genius of the Tian family, Tian Yunji. Furthermore, the Yun side family has been asking for help from the Bai side family because they're worried about the Iron Blood chapter's retaliation. Qin Mengzhen also reported the news. This Tian Yunji comes from the Tian family and he went to the Yun side family to visit his family. Zhao Feng was slightly weird. Chapter leader, you forgot that Tian Yunji has the bloodline of both the Tian and Yun families. Among them, Tian Yunji's deceased mother was a female elder of the Qianshui Yun family. Dai Yi reminded. No wonder. Zhao Feng faintly nodded his head. This way, it would be hard for the Iron Blood chapter to retaliate against the Yun side family. Once the Iron Blood chapter attacked the Yun side family, Tian Yunji wouldn't just stand by and watch. If it was a normal true human rank, Zhao Feng obviously wouldn't put him in his eyes. However, Tian Yunji was a genius that had comprehended the basic form of blade intent and had the bloodline of two families. Saber intents and sword intents were formless mental energies that could cut through the void. They had a certain restraining effect on mental energy secret techniques. Chapter leader, I suggest we attack the Yun side family and become the true ruler of the Thousand Water River area. Yun Sha was a battle-hungry person and immediately suggested. Qin Mengzhen's eyebrows furrowed. It's best if we wait for Tian Yunji to leave and then we can think about it. After all, he's the #1 genius of the main Tian family. Humph. With the chapter leader here, a measly Tian Yunji isn't worth mentioning. Furthermore, the forces of the headquarters are unable to interfere in the battles between the branch clans and branches. Most of the time, they keep each other in check. Yun Sha snickered coldly. The two vice-chapter leaders had different opinions and started to argue. Dai Lan, what do you think? Zhao Feng's gaze turned towards Dai Lan. After the previous battle, Zhao Feng made Dai Lan the protector of the chapter. Even the vice-chapter leader couldn't order her around. If there's someone in the chapter that can suppress Tian Yunji, then they have a chance of winning. Furthermore, we still have to worry about the Bai side family sending reinforcements to the Yun side family. Dai Lan didn't give her opinion and instead explained the situation. The key was who would deal with Tian Yunji. Secondly, they had to defend against the reinforcements from the Bai side family. In reality, the Bai and Yun subclans in the Thousand Water River region weren't considered strong. The Yun side family was average and the Bai side family was slightly weaker. I've just arrived at the Thousand Water chapter and need to stabilize the situation before I can cultivate and prepare for the sacred True Dragon gathering. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled as he thought for a long time. A shocking order sounded in the hall. From today onwards, attack the Yun side family and Bai side family at the same time. The moment this order was given, the upper echelons of the Iron Blood chapter were shocked. Even Yun Sha jumped up in fright and laughed in his heart. Do you think Tian Yunji is so easy to deal with? Although the two side families are on the decline, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. Chapter leader, isn't this a bit rushed? Dai Lan felt that it wasn't right. I've made up my mind. The Iron Blood chapter has the highest number of middle and lower tier members. This is our biggest advantage. Furthermore, we have more than 10 experts at the True Spirit realm, and many of them are elites. Zhao Feng made the final decision. From today onwards, the Iron Blood chapter started to gather a large amount of people. Usually, some hidden elites, some hidden forces, and some subordinate forces gathered around the chapter. At this point in time, the Thousand Water River area was in chaos and many small forces were uneasy. Normal small forces might not have any experts at the True Spirit realm or only have 2 or 3. In a few days' time, the Iron Blood chapter started to attack the Yun side family. At this point in time, blood-robed figures arrived at the Yun side family. At the same time, on the other side, Zhao Feng sent Chen Mingjin to attack the Bai side family mainly to stall them.
Chapter 321. Thousand Water River Yun Family. The Yun side family and the Iron Blood religion were separated by a 100-yard wide river. The two sides clashed in the air above the river. The Iron Blood religion had more members and their morale was high. In the first clash, they had the advantage. Zhao Feng sat at the back while Dai Yi waited on the side. Yun Sha was the main force and led several true human rank elders to launch the first wave of attacks. The Yun side family immediately sent out several true human rank experts to face the enemy. Why haven't the Bai side family's reinforcements arrived yet? The head of the Yun side family had a solemn expression. Reporting to the head. The Iron Blood religion chapter is attacking the Bai side family at the same time. The Iron Blood religion chapter dares to attack both the Bai and Yun side family at the same time. The upper echelon of the Yun side family were both shocked and angry. On the surface, it seemed that the Iron Blood religion chapter was a bit arrogant, but they had the initiative. Instead of defending against the Bai side family's reinforcements, it was better to attack first and stall the Bai side family with a smaller force. As long as the Iron Blood religion chapter could win against the Yun side family, the Bai side family wouldn't be able to resist at all. Zhao Feng. Brat from the Iron Blood religion. You crippled my grandson, and now you want to dominate the Thousand Water River. The head of the Yun family exclaimed, and the aura of the true mystic rank connected with the heaven-earth yuan qi and suppressed any other true human rank present. This powerful aura made Xiao Feng's heart sink. He had experienced the aura of a true mystic rank expert before. Even Xiao Feng didn't have the confidence to win against the head of the Yun side family. In the past, no one in the Iron Blood Religion chapter could beat the head of the Yun side family. Only Yun Sha and Chen Mengzhen, the two vice-chapter leaders, could fight against him. If it wasn't for the fact that the head of the Yun side family was old and his battle power wasn't at its peak, the Iron Blood Religion chapter wouldn't be able to rule the Thousand Water River. Da Yi, go and help Xue Sha. Zhao Feng knew that although Yun Sha's battle power wasn't much weaker than his, it wasn't enough to face the head of the Yun side family alone. With Da Ye's strength and methods, if she joined forces with Xue Sha, they would be able to hold their own against the Yun family patriarch for a period of time. In the air above the river, the true spirit realm experts from both sides fought fiercely. Zhao Feng slowly stood up, his god's spiritual eye scanning the area. At a certain moment, his left eye stared at the bottom of the river and flashed with a sharp blue coldness. Whoosh! A blade light shot into the sky from the river, and the aura was almost comparable to the true mystic rank of the Yun family. Cloud Tianji.
Many people from both sides glanced at the war-robed youth from the corner of their eyes. Yun Tianji, the number one genius of the main branch of the Yun family, was one of the top 10 new stars of the nation, ranked third. Voila! In the surging river, an exhausted red-robed girl with a face full of fear and shame appeared. Cousin, are you all right? Yun Tianji looked surprised as he supported the red-robed girl, who was exhausted and seemed to have gone through endless torture. On the other side, Zhao Feng floated in the air with green lightning circling his feet. A playful smile appeared on his face. Impossible! We were clearly hiding under the water. With one glance the red-robed girl's face was pale white and powerless. Yun Tianji and his cousin had been hiding under the river, preparing to ambush the Iron Blood Religion chapter. The red-robed girl had a unique treasure that specialized in hiding in the water. Even those at the true spirit realm wouldn't be able to find her easily. Unexpectedly, a light blue icy eye pierced through the river and appeared in their hearts. The red-robed girl was only at the half-step true spirit realm, so she was obviously hit. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye could create a mental energy prison and no one of the same cultivation could block it. He could instantly kill anyone of the same cultivation. Yun Tianji had only managed to escape death by unleashing an embryonic form of saber intent at that dangerous moment. Zhao Feng didn't mind. Those that had comprehended sword and blade intent couldn't be judged by normal standards. His left eye gazed at an elder at the true human rank on the other side of the river. The true human rank elder's heart went cold as he was attracted by a faint blue eye. In his vision, a freezing pond became deeper and deeper until it drowned his consciousness. Shwa! He appeared in a weird ice-blue dimension. This was the mental energy illusion that Zhao Feng had created. Arcs of azure lightning wrapped around the true human rank. In essence, it was his mental energy consciousness that was bound. Plop! In reality, in less than a breath's time, the true human rank half knelt on the ground in cold sweat. In just a glance, Zhao Feng had made a true human rank lose the ability to fight. So, this is his eye bloodline. Yun Tianji's expression changed. This youth's left eye was cold and emotionless, as if it could see through the world. He had once felt a similar look from another powerful opponent. This Iron Blood Religion chapter leader's damage against those at the true spirit realm is too great. The patriarch of the Yun clan felt a sense of helplessness in his heart when he saw this. Even when he was at his peak, he didn't have the ability to instantly kill a true human rank. Only those at the true lord rank could easily defeat a true human rank in just 1 or 2 moves. Zhao Feng didn't have the cultivation of the true lord rank, but he had this terrifying speed. Chapter 322. 100 years ago, the famous water moon pirate cultivated the mystic flower treasured Bible, and his speed allowed him to look down on the great countries. The water moon pirate used his extreme speed to sneak into the treasuries of various clans and steal many treasures. Even those at the true lord rank couldn't do anything to him. Mystic flower lightning charm step. Zhao Feng's figure was like a blur of lightning. At first glance, it was as if countless petals of a lotus had bloomed. It turned out that Zhao Feng had absorbed some of the mystic flower treasured Bible's essence and merged it into his lightning inheritance. The lightning inheritance was extremely profound and powerful. Zhao Feng still focused on it, but the mystic flower treasured Bible was more practical and the usage of movement techniques was more perfect. Therefore, Zhao Feng absorbed the essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible and merged it into his lightning inheritance. Right now, the fusion rate was only around 10%. However, even so, Zhao Feng's usage of speed had improved. Cold sweat appeared on Tian Yunji's forehead. He had never seen such a terrifying speed amongst the younger generation. Even his spiritual sense couldn't catch it. Zhao Feng's movement skill was as fast as lightning and as ghostly as a ghost. Blurry afterimages intertwined with each other, making it hard to pass off as real. Blade of lightning. Amidst the ghostly silhouette of lightning, a sharp electric blade appeared. It was about 5 feet long and was formed by tiny green electric arcs. It was vibrating at a high speed. Shwa! The lightning blade was as elusive as the ghostly figure. With unpredictable methods and angles, it ruthlessly slashed at the side of Tian Yunji's body, precisely hitting his weak point. Ding Chi! Tian Yunji broke out in a cold sweat. Relying on the senses of his saber intent, he barely managed to block the lightning blade. Crackle! The blade of lightning exploded and a powerful ripple of lightning swept across the area. Tian Yunji's body went numb. If it wasn't for the fact that he had used his bloodline power, he would have been heavily injured. Although Tian Yunji had blocked this attack, he was in a disadvantageous position. The numbness in his body lowered his speed and agility. In terms of speed, Zhao Feng had the absolute advantage and he forced Tian Yunji into a corner. Speed was the only unbeatable skill in the world. Although Tian Yunji's battle power was comparable to Zhao Feng's after he had opened his bloodline, the difference in speed made him lose the initiative. The Mystic Flower electric phantom steps fused with the Mystic Flower unfettered steps and the phantom lightning. With my current speed, I can look down on those of the same level. I might even be able to catch up to the water moon pirate back in the day. Zhao Feng's figure was like lightning as he successfully suppressed Tian Yunji. If it wasn't for the fact that Tian Yunji had comprehended blade intent and blocked Zhao Feng's attacks, he would have died many times already. Furthermore, Zhao Feng didn't even use his bloodline power to increase his battle power. He was using the Sky Cloud Ganoderma to familiarize himself with the mysterious flower electric charm steps that he had just comprehended. He also occasionally used some of the profound skills he had learned from the mysterious flower treasured Bible and the lightning inheritance. The more Tian Yunji fought, the more shocked he became. In this dangerous situation, his potential and blade intent were being squeezed out. If I can merge the evil essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible into the lightning inheritance, my speed will have a chance to surpass the water moon pirate. The power of the lightning inheritance will also surpass the original inheritance. An outline started to form in Zhao Feng's mind. It wasn't that he hadn't tried merging moves with moves and profoundness with profoundness when he was cultivating mortal skills. However, the skills he was cultivating now were all at the spiritual level and above. Many of the profoundness of his previous skills, such as the mystic wind palm and the broken 4 wind forms, were all very basic skills. When Zhao Feng suppressed Tian Yunji, the upper echelons of the Iron Blood branch and the middle and lower echelons all gained an overwhelming advantage. The Yun branch family was pushed back again and again. Tian Yunji, who had finally been invited, was suppressed by Zhao Feng. Yun Sha, Elder Gao and the other upper echelons of the branch were shocked and admiration appeared on their faces. In terms of strength, Zhao Feng was more than qualified to be the leader of the branch. More importantly, he was still so young and was considered very young in the younger generation. His potential was limitless. Yun Sha, Dai Lan and company finally understood why the deputy patriarch liked this youth. Escaping the marriage in the flooding lake city, fighting against the bandits in the Water Moon treasury and kidnapping Empress Qin. How could a normal genius do such a thing? Kukiukiu. A string of ghostly figures appeared near the shore. Zhao Feng had distanced himself from Tian Yunji. Tian Yunji was gasping for breath. His forehead was covered in beads of sweat, and there were several burn marks on his body. Why didn't you continue? You almost beat me just now. Tian Yunji gritted his teeth. Zhao Feng didn't look at him. Instead, his left eye focused on the other side of the river. Plop! A true human rank Yun side family reinforcement fell from the air and half kneeled on the ground. His body was drenched in cold sweat as he looked helplessly at Zhao Feng. This true human rank expert was a guest advisor of the Yun branch family. He had heard the news and rushed over to help the Yun branch family. Every expert at the true spirit realm meant a bit of hope for the Yun branch family. However, before the upper echelons of the Yun family could rejoice, the true human rank reinforcement was defeated by Zhao Feng in one glance. Preposterous. While fighting with me, he was still paying attention to the big picture and defeating other experts at the true spirit realm. Tian Yunji was both shocked and angry. He was even more wary of Zhao Feng's strength. What did this mean? Zhao Feng didn't use his full strength against him. The opponent was paying attention to the big picture. The head of the Yun family, Yun Sha, Dai Yi and the other experts all noticed this detail. Not only was Zhao Feng's battle power strong, he also had the intelligence to see the big picture. The Yun branch family's hope of reinforcements was destroyed by Zhao Feng. Does the heavens want my Yun branch family to die? The head of the Yun family's expression was full of sorrow as his chi of true spirit trembled and almost burned. His powerful aura pushed back Yun Sha and Dai Yi. This true mystic rank expert was old and his battle power wasn't at his peak. Otherwise, he would be able to suppress Yun Sha and Dai Yi. Head of the Yun branch family. The Yun branch family and Tian Yunji couldn't bear to see this happen. At this moment in time, the head of the Yun family was risking his life. Head of the Yun branch family, if you burn your chi of true spirit, you might be able to kill 1 or 2 experts at the true spirit realm, but your life will come to an end. Without you, the branch family of the Yun family will still be doomed. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. With his words, the battle between the Yun branch family and the Iron Blood religion fell into a short silence. What do you want? The head of the Yun family clenched his teeth. He stared closely at Zhao Feng and saw a sliver of hope. Zhao Feng leading the chapter to attack the Yun branch family seemed to be strong, but he was actually holding back. In reality, Zhao Feng had his own worries. If he destroyed the Yun branch family, the Iron Blood religion would also suffer heavy losses. This was especially so for the head of the Yun branch family. If he burned his chi of true spirit without any regard for his life, how many elites and upper echelon members would the Iron Blood religion lose? The Yun branch family surrenders and will give up half of their territory and resources. They will sign a 50-year blood contract and become a subsidiary of the Iron Blood religion. Zhao Feng said slowly. Instead of destroying the Yun branch family with heavy losses, it was better to take it easy and obtain great benefits. Hearing this, some of the upper echelons of the Yun branch family who had fallen into a desperate situation couldn't help but reveal looks of joy. The Iron Blood religion didn't actually kill them all. Instead, they proposed a condition that at least the Yun branch family wouldn't be destroyed. The head of the Yun branch family thought for a while before clenching his teeth. It's impossible for the Yun branch family to become a subsidiary of the Iron Blood religion. Plus, half of the territory and resources are too much. The two then started to communicate through spiritual sense. The head of the Yun branch family was only willing to give up 1/3 of the territory and resources. He also wanted the Iron Blood religion to promise that they wouldn't attack the Yun branch family for 100 years or else the blood contract would be invalid. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. Why didn't this head of the Yun branch family back down? Right at this moment. Tian Yunji's mental state had recovered and he exclaimed coldly, "Head of the Yun family, don't agree to his conditions. Let me deal with him." He took a deep breath and the two bloodlines in his body almost merged together. His chi of true spirit was almost burning as he raised the azure blade once again. "I didn't think that the battle just now would stimulate your bloodline and blade intent." Zhao Feng smiled coldly. "Paw!" An elegant mountain river folding fan appeared in his hand and his bloodline started to throb. In an instant, his blue hair danced wildly in the wind, and a faint green lightning mark appeared between his eyebrows. "Who?" The water moon god peach fan in Zhao Feng's hand waved through the air and a ripple of lightning instantly appeared like a mountain. Bang! The embankment of the river directly collapsed, and the river water surged hundreds of feet high. The towering water ripples and lightning fan shadows were like hundreds of feet of thunder, crushing everything in their path. What? Tian Yunji's blade intent was shattered by the terrifying mental energy power of the water moon god peach fan. Sky cloud river breaking slash. He slashed out with all his might and slashed through the river, tearing apart the ripple of lightning and lightning. The two terrifying forces clashed together and Tian Yunji immediately spat out a mouthful of blood with a pale face. Boom! Tian Yunji's figure was blasted several miles away by the terrifying ripple of lightning and lightning. His entire body was charred as he fell to the ground and fainted on the verge of death. Such a shocking and magnificent scene caused the people on both sides to be shocked and sluggish. Who would have thought that Zhao Feng would use the water moon god peach fan and have such a powerful attack, combining the power of lightning and water to create a terrifying power of water and lightning. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had just used the water moon god peach fan to launch a mental energy attack to shatter Tian Yunji's blade intent. Whether it was a clash of mental energy or power, it was a merciless suppression. Stop! I agree to your request. The Yun family patriarch's face paled as he deeply stared at Zhao Feng and raised his hands. Crack! Zhao Feng closed the mountain river folding fan in his hand and his breathing became hurried. He raised his hand and all the members of the Iron Blood branch stopped attacking. Following Zhao Feng's powerful attack, the Yun side family's will to fight was dug out and they all surrendered without any objections. Of course, although the attack just then was powerful, it had used up 20% of Zhao Feng's chi of true spirit. On the same day, the upper echelons of both sides reached an agreement near the river. The branch family of the Yun family ceded half of their territory and resources such as the Origin Crystal Mine, and signed a 50-year blood contract. After today's battle, the situation of the Thousand Water River had completely changed. The Iron Blood branch was truly unrivaled in the Thousand Water River area. Zhao Feng's name shook the Thousand Water Zone and made countless forces, big and small, tremble in fear. Unless a Void God Realm King appears. Apparently, a Void God Realm King's cultivation can reach a deeper level of the soul, and they can even travel the universe. The white-haired old apothecary shook his head. The Yun family patriarch couldn't help but feel a trace of bitterness at the corner of his mouth. Most of the 8 strongest forces in Canopy Great Country didn't have any sovereigns. As for Void God Realm Kings, there was no need to even think about it. There might not be any on the continent. That's right, old patriarch. There was a mysterious sage in the 6 Warlock Tower who was well versed in astronomy, geography, divination, medicine, and spell formations. Supposedly, even a venerable from one of the 10 great sects, the Heavenly Origin sect, has paid a visit to him. One of the old alchemists suddenly asked. The sage of the 6 Warlock Tower? Are you talking about Empress Qin's teacher? The Yun family patriarch's eyes lit up. Even Empress Qin, who had the title of Empress Qin, was the disciple of that sage. From this, one could see how capable he was. But shortly after, the light in his eyes dimmed. He had heard of that sage before, and he spent most of his time traveling the world. Even in the 6 Warlock Tower, he didn't see any guests. No matter what, we have to try. Hopefully, with the combined power of the Tian and Yun families, we can invite that sage. If we can get Empress Qin to help, then our hopes will be higher. The Yun family patriarch's eyes became moist as he clenched his fists so hard that his nails almost dug into his palms. The elders next to him were silent. Not many people knew that the Yun family patriarch was Tian Yunji's great-grandfather. Even Tian Yunji himself didn't know that his mother had passed away, and this was the first time he had come to the Yun family. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Chapter of the Iron Blood Religion. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and the qi of true spirit within his body flowed smoothly. The qi of true spirit was in a liquid form and was even more condensed. There was a spring in his dantian, which was the source of true spirit of those at the true spirit realm. Different true spirit realms had different sizes of their source of true spirit. If the source of true spirit of those at the true human rank was a bowl of water, then those at the true mystic rank were a tub of water. The strongest true Lord rank's source of true spirit could be considered a tub of water. The difference between the three was extremely large. This was especially true for those at the true Lord rank. Their every action could create unparalleled power. With Zhao Feng's current strength, he could still fight against those at the true mystic rank, such as the Yun family patriarch. Those at the true mystic rank were several times stronger than the Yun family patriarch. Zhao Feng probably wouldn't even have the ability to fight back against the Water Moon Pirate. As for those at the true Lord rank, such as the Flooding Lake City Lord or the Deputy Patriarch of the Iron Blood Religion, they could kill those at the true human rank with just a finger. Luckily, Zhao Feng was under the protection of the Iron Blood Religion and didn't need to worry about the Flooding Lake City Lord finding him for revenge. My source of true spirit has started to form and has been consolidated. The next step is to refine and expand it. Zhao Feng inspected the source of true spirit in his dantian. His source of true spirit was dark azure and crackled with lightning. If he didn't restrain it, he would release a destructive aura that would make nearby beings feel uneasy. Once he had entered the true spirit realm, he would no longer be mortal. Zhao Feng's state of existence far surpassed a normal being's, and his source of true spirit could communicate with the heaven-earth Yuan Qi and absorb it to a certain degree. Amongst them, the lightning Yuan Qi was the most compatible with Zhao Feng and was the easiest to absorb. Next was wind, water, fire. The others were all blurry and couldn't be absorbed. Next. As long as Zhao Feng strengthened his source of true spirit, he would be able to reach the early stages of the true human rank. Normal true human rank cultivators would need at least half a year to 2 to 3 years to reach the early stages without any bottlenecks. However, from the early stages to the late stages was difficult and required time, luck and talent. From the late stages to the peak stages was the same, it was a small realm. The peak stages of the true human rank was the same as Blood Fiend and the Fan-Flying Bandit. At this level, one could try to break through to the second realm of the true spirit realm, the true mystic rank. The true mystic rank was a relatively large threshold and required one to communicate with the heaven-earth and form their own root of law. I have the mystic flower saint liquid from the Water Moon treasury which can help those at the true spirit realm comprehend the heaven-earth and form their root of law. This will increase the chances of reaching the true mystic rank by 30%. Zhao Feng's heart moved. The Mystic Flower Saint liquid was a treasure that Zhao Feng had obtained from the Water Moon treasury and came from the third floor of the purple copper coffin. Thinking about it now, in terms of value, the Mystic Flower Saint liquid was comparable to the Water Moon God Peach Fan. If this liquid was put up for auction in the Rising Dragon auction, who knew what price it would fetch? After half a month of consolidation, Zhao Feng came out of seclusion and asked about the matters of the chapter. Currently, the Thousand Water Division had dominated an area, and there were many small families, small forces, and scattered experts that had come to join them. Blood Fiend and Chen Mengzhen, the two vice-chapter leaders, were extremely busy. Zhao Feng, the chapter leader, spent most of his time in seclusion and didn't ask about matters. Zhao Feng didn't even receive those at the true spirit realm who came to visit. Chapter leader, you've finally come out. Blood Fiend, Chen Mengzhen and the other upper echelon immediately came over to report some important matters. Now that the Iron Blood chapter controlled the Thousand Water River, there were still many problems that needed to be solved. The leader of the Severed Blood Pirates, the Severed Blood Bald Eagle, says that he knows the chapter leader and was once a brother of the chapter leader. He wants to see you and get an upper echelon position in the Iron Blood religion. The demonic Yin King of Mount Chi-Wu has reached the true mystic rank and has a feud with the Flooding Lake City Lord. He's heard of the chapter leader's talent and wants to invite you to the mountain for a drink. Apparently, he has a daughter who's as pretty as a flower and wants to. There's a famous Taoist called the 8 Trigrams Immortal who once divined the fortune of the Canopy Great Country's emperor. He says that you have the aura of a true dragon and wants to help the chapter leader rule the world. At this point in time, all sorts of matters were sent to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng couldn't help but rub his forehead and furrow his eyebrows. If there's no life or death situation, help me reject any invitations. He waved his hand and threw all the matters to the vice-chapter leader, elder, and the upper echelon. After calming his heart, Zhao Feng said to Dai Yi, I have a letter here that needs to be sent to Taigon Master and ask him to come and forge a weapon for me. Taigon Master? He's a famous blacksmith master and an honorary elder of the headquarters. I'll send someone to deliver the letter but I can't guarantee that he'll come. Dai Yi said solemnly. My relationship with Taigon Master isn't bad. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. The reason he wanted to ask Taigon Master was because he wanted to forge a long-range weapon or use the 5-elemental piercing crystal and 5-elemental primal crystal to increase the power of the Luo Hobao. Apart from that, the water moon god Peach Fan had 7 small interspatial compartments that could store powerful weapons according to his needs. After these matters were done, Zhao Feng went back into seclusion. The merging of the essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible was a long and slow process. Flooding Lake City, City Lord Palace. City Lord, the news is accurate. Zhao Feng has become the Iron Blood Religion Division leader and has swept across the Thousand Water River area and even defeated the #1 genius of the main Tian family, Tian Yunji. A dim shadow finished reporting and disappeared in a flash. The Flooding Lake City Lord stood with his hands behind his back. His expression was dark and his eyes were like the endless night sky with a silver and red flame burning within. After a while he turned and asked behind him, Xian, what do you think? Shua. A beautiful figure dressed in a snow-white veil was as elegant as a fairy, as if she had walked out from a landscape painting. I've decided to participate in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. Lu Qinxin gritted her teeth as a ripple appeared in her beautiful eyes. Hee, with your bloodline and hidden strength, you'll be hard to find a match in the younger generation of the great country. It's time for you to walk out of the great country and the northern continent and enter the stage of the true dragon continent. The Flooding Lake City Lord laughed. Chapter 324. Lu Qinxin's change made the Flooding Lake City Lord happy but also slightly surprised. His daughter, whether it was in terms of talent, bloodline, beauty, or talent, she was the best in the world. On the surface, the Flooding Lake City Lord was the genius of the Flooding Lake Lu family in the past 1,000 years. However, only the Flooding Lake City Lord knew that his daughter's talent and potential were all above his. However, after her mother and master passed away one after another, Lu Qinxin gradually became indifferent to the ways of the world. Her state of mind became tranquil and quiet, and she didn't like to fight. Who made you change your mind? Is it because of that ungrateful brat? The Flooding Lake City Lord couldn't help but be curious. No. Xian saw master not long ago. Lu Qinxin smiled. Ever since Zhao Feng ran away from the marriage, it was rare to see such a smile on her face. Master? You mean the 6 Warlock Divine Sage? The Flooding Lake City Lord's expression finally changed. The 6 Warlock Divine Tower's knowledge was as vast as the ocean and was proficient in divination. Even Empress Qin was his disciple. Several months ago, the Flooding Lake City Lord had asked to see the sage and asked him to find out where Zhao Feng had escaped to. However, the Flooding Lake City Lord didn't get what he wanted. Master found that some of the stronger inheritances in the sacred True Dragon Gathering, such as the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, have a 10% chance of connecting to the Azure Flower continent, and this chance is still increasing. He also said that the Azure Flower continent will soon welcome a great change and told me to grasp this chance. Lu Qinxin's eyes flashed with unprecedented expectation. Heaven's Legacy inheritance. More than 10% chance. The Flooding Lake City Lord was shocked. Everyone knew that the Heaven's Legacy inheritance was the most ancient and mysterious inheritance in the world. However, the chance of the Heaven's Legacy inheritance connecting to the Azure Flower continent was extremely small. It would usually happen every 10,000 years or so. Overall, it was 1 in 1,000. After all, the sacred True Dragon Gathering was once every 10 years. This time, the 6 Warlock Divine Sage found that although the chance of the Heaven's Legacy inheritance appearing was only 10%, it was 100 times more than normal. Xian, you must grab hold of this opportunity. It's hard to get a chance like this even after dozens of eras. Every time the Heaven's Legacy inheritance appears, the situation of the continent will change. We can predict that our era will surpass the era of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. The Flooding Lake City Lord couldn't help but be excited. The Heaven's Legacy inheritance only appeared once every 10,000 years, and the lifespan of normal cultivators at the True Spirit realm was only a few hundred years. In the face of tens of thousands of years, even sovereigns of the Primal Core realm were insignificant. The Flooding Lake City Lord had participated in the sacred True Dragon Gathering twice and had reached the top 100. However, in the past 100 years, the sacred True Dragon Gathering hadn't sent any powerful inheritances. Father, don't celebrate too early. This is just a divination. When the time comes, it might not necessarily be the Tianji inheritance. Lu Qinxin smiled. Northern Continent, Tianyuan Sect. At the peak of a vast sea of clouds, the mountains were majestic and endless. Beneath the layer of clouds, some palaces and halls could be faintly seen. They had an ancient charm and heavenly fragrance, and red-crowned cranes and spirit birds were wandering about in the sky. It was quiet and tranquil, like a paradise in a painting. At this moment in time, dozens of clan disciples were gathered on one of the peaks. Their cultivations were all at least at the half-step True Spirit realm, and more than half were at the True Human rank. The one in the lead was a silver-robed youth. He was handsome and extraordinary, standing out from the crowd. His eyes seemed to flash with a godly light, and with every breath, his chi of True Spirit connected to the mysteries of heaven and earth, creating an invisible pressure that was enough to make normal True Mystic ranks change their expressions. The crowd of disciples glanced at him with great respect, as if this man possessed the power of a god. He was the head disciple of the Heavenly Yuan clan, Mo Tianyi. Great Luo Ring Blade. A blue-robed youth at the late stages of the True Human rank roared and slashed out with the blade in his hand. Although it didn't contain any blade intent, the power of the blade was comparable to Tian Yunji's. If this blade was taken head-on, it would be able to heavily injure normal True Human ranks. Heaven-shifting mountain. The silver-robed Mo Tianyi's expression was calm as he swiped his hand, and an orange light pierced through the blue-robed youth's great Luo ring. When the giant blade light that could shake mountains suddenly shattered and moved towards the blue-robed youth. Wah! The blue-robed youth instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. It was as if he had slashed in the air and injured himself instead. Hee. Luo Jin, if you comprehended blade intent you might be able to fight me, but even if you reach the True Mystic rank you won't be my match. Mo Tianyi shook his head and smiled. Brother Mo's Yuan Mountain Great Secret Technique is indeed worthy of being one of the strongest spiritual grade skills of the clan. Even some true lord ranks can't comprehend it. It's hard to find a second person with such comprehension in the northern continent of the same generation. That's right, Brother Mo suppressed his cultivation to the same level and defeated his opponent in one move. It belonged to the era of legends, and it was too far away. Even if she only has a faint bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races, her future is limitless and can change the entire continent. The white-robed Daoist's voice trembled with excitement. Chapter 325. The 10,000 Ancient Races lists the 10,000 races of the ancient era and is too far away from the present. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of power this bloodline will have after it awakens. The purple-robed male revealed a faint smile. Bloodlines would awaken and reverse the ancestor's bloodline as the owner's cultivation increased, and there would even be rare mutations. Reverse the ancestor's bloodline was the ability of the ancestor's bloodline. For example, if the ancestor was a faux god sovereign martial emperor, as the bloodline reverted, the descendants would have the same or similar bloodline abilities as the ancestor. However, after countless generations of inheritance, the bloodline of the later generations was very thin. Whether it was Zhao Yufei, Lu Qinxin, Aoyue Tian, or even the Flooding Lake City Lord, their bloodlines were extremely thin and were usually less than 100th or even 1,000th of the ancestor's bloodline. If the ancestor was too old, it wouldn't even be 100th of 1,000th. From this, one could see how strong one would be if they could reverse the ancestor's bloodline to 1/10, 1/5, or even half. Right now, Yufei's bloodline needs to be evaluated. Her specialty is that her compatibility with the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi is extremely high, and her body can easily absorb the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi. Other than the high purity of her true power, and the quick congealing and explosion, she has another advantage, and that is her unparalleled training speed. The white-robed Taoist smiled faintly. Her speed is indeed fast, much faster than Tian Yi. However, in terms of cultivation speed, Yu Tianhao from the Middle Continent has already reached the peak true mystic rank before the age of 30 and is known as the #1 genius of the continent. Even the Scarlet Moon Religion Patriarch and Sword Saint Yi Wuxie can't be compared to him at the same time. One has to know that the further one goes, the slower one's progress becomes. The purple-robed man didn't think so. The higher one's cultivation, the more bottlenecks there were and the longer it took to break through. After the true human rank, even geniuses needed a few years to break through. After the true human rank, it was normal for it to take dozens of years. From the looks of it, Yu Tianhao's cultivation speed was at least 2 to 3 times that of Zhao Yufei. Yu Tianhao's grandfather and grandmother are both at the origin core realm, and there was even a void god realm king among them. The white-robed Taoist couldn't help but shake his head. He was the prodigy of heaven from the moment he was born and received the best resources. Compared to him, Yufei has only been in the heavenly Yuan clan for a short time. Moreover, as my bloodline ability awakened, my compatibility with the world's origin energy continues to increase. My cultivation is also improving day by day. It's still increasing. The blurry purple-robed figure was finally surprised. Some of the top geniuses would increase their cultivation speed by leaps and bounds, reaching the true spirit realm in their teens. However, the early stages of advancement were too fast, and many of the later stages were insufficient. A single realm could be stagnant for decades, or even half a lifetime. I've asked around. Yufei has been cultivating in a place with sparse resources and primal qi since she was young. Her initial progress was slow and difficult. But everything has its pros and cons. There's also a huge advantage, and that is that their foundations are abnormally solid. Geniuses that come from these remote regions usually have very strong stamina. There was an indescribable wisdom in the seemingly turbid eyes of the white-robed old Taoist. The mysterious wisdom. Across the Azure Flower Continent, the Northern Continent, the Middle Continent, the Western Continent, the Eastern Continent and the extreme North, many powerful forces were preparing for the sacred True Dragon Gathering. There weren't many participants in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. The Canopy Great Country also only had 10 spots. The vast Canopy Great Country also only had 10 spots. Normal strong countries only had 2 spots. Far away in the cloud area. After the 13 clans surrendered, the 13 countries became part of the Iron Dragon Strong Country. Broken Moon Clan, Sky Moon Mountain. Within the Clan Master's Palace. This is a spiritual explosion pill that I spent a lot of effort to obtain. Although its effect is a bit weaker than the shedding spiritual pill, and has a lot of side effects, with the help of this pill, you still have a chance to reach the true spirit realm. A smile appeared on Hai-Yun Master's handsome face. Baimwa stood in front of him with hesitation and struggle. Although he was at the half-step true spirit realm, the chance of him reaching the true spirit realm was small unless he used outside help. However, the 13 countries were lacking in resources and it was hard for a second shedding spiritual pill to appear. This spiritual explosion pill had a certain effect on reaching the true spirit realm but had a lot of side effects. Eating this pill could cause one's dantian to explode and even cause one's body to explode. Do you want to stay in the cloud area forever? Now that the cloud area has become part of the Iron Dragon Strong Country, as long as you reach the true spirit realm, you'll have a chance to enter the sacred true dragon gathering. Hai-Yun Master gazed at Baimwa, the most talented genius in the Broken Moon clan. A year ago, Baimwa had surpassed Yanggan and became the head disciple. Sacred True Dragon Gathering. Baimwa's fists were clenched and his body trembled. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering was the stage of the entire continent. Compared to it, the cloud area was just a small village. Only strong countries have a recommendation. If the Iron Dragon Strong Country doesn't rule here, you won't even have the chance to compete. Hai-Yun Master handed the spiritual explosion pill to Baimwa. From the disciple's eyes, it could be seen that he was moved and couldn't resist the temptation. Baimwa had been a prodigy since he was young and didn't want to fall behind. After the 13 Clan Alliance banquet, he trained even harder and was one of the top geniuses in the 13 clans. One reason was because he had increased in leaps and bounds. On the other hand, many of the top geniuses such as Zhang Yuyue, Lin Tong, Zhao Feng, Aoyue Tian and Zhao Yufei had left the 13 countries. If Baimwa could take a big step forward, he would be a top genius even in the Iron Dragon Strong Country. This spiritual explosion pill is extremely dangerous. Out of 10 people who take this pill, 5 will explode and die. The rest will break their meridians and become cripples. Baimwa, whether you're a dragon or a snake will depend on your luck. Hai-Yun Master inspected the direction Baimwa left in and his expression became cold. Broken Moon Clan. In another mountain, First Elder's Palace. Gone, your cultivation has stopped at the peak 7th sky. This bottleneck might last you for several years or even dozens of years. Instead of this, why don't you go to the outer disciples? First Elder said. Disciple will listen to Master's arrangements. Yanggan said solemnly. He also found that it was normal for his cultivation to be stuck at a bottleneck for several years or even 10 years. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering will start in half a year and with your strength, you definitely don't have the right to participate. However, you can observe the Sacred True Dragon Gathering and maybe it'll be beneficial. First Elder suggested. The Iron Dragon Strong Country only had 2 spots for the Sacred True Dragon Gathering and Yanggan definitely had no hope. Disciple is willing. This is the pinnacle gathering of the continent and even if Disciple has a slim chance of survival, I'll go and see it. Yanggan understood that it was extremely dangerous to travel across the continent. Only those at the true spirit realm or geniuses like Zhao Feng, Zhang Yuyue and Lin Tong had a high chance of success. Although the Sky Cloud Forest is at the edge of the northern continent and is relatively close to the middle continent, with your speed, you won't be able to reach it even in 1 or 2 years. You might even die on the way. First Elder laughed lightly. This. Yanggan was dejected. Only those at the true spirit realm with a good flying beast would be able to reach the middle continent in half a year. I've already arranged for a good friend at the true spirit realm from the Iron Dragon Strong Country to take disciples to observe the sacred true dragon gathering. He'll take you there. A letter appeared in First Elder's hand along with an interspatial bracelet which he handed over to First Disciple. Yanggan was overjoyed as he took the item and found that the interspatial bracelet was filled with primal crystal stones and spiritual pills. He was extremely grateful. Sending Yanggan off with his eyes, First Elder's eyes became slightly moist. Gan, don't blame me for being selfish. The reason why First Elder took Yanggan to observe the sacred true dragon gathering was because he had a sliver of hope in his heart. Northern Continent. One of the three great countries, Canopy Great Country. Thousand Water River, Iron Blood Religion Chapter. Zhao Feng opened his eyes from seclusion and the faint blue coldness in his left eye became deeper. In his mind, the faint blue pond extended by 1 foot and 3 inches. The coldness on his face was stronger than before. After the second evolution of the god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng's personality became colder and colder. With a sweep of his left eye, even experts at the true human rank would feel coldness and pressure. After reaching the true spirit realm, the power of Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye increased day by day. Right now, Zhao Feng was confident that most people at the true human rank would find it hard to block his eye bloodline, whether it be mental energy illusions or mental energy attacks. Apart from that, the source of true spirit within his body had completely consolidated and was comparable to some early-stage true human ranks. It was even purer and purer. What no one knew was that Zhao Feng still had the Water Moon Pirate source of true spirit sealed within him. The sealing technique came from the Heaven's Legacy inheritance and existed in a special form. If I don't have enough true spirit, I can use the Water Moon Pirate source of true spirit to increase my own strength. Zhao Feng felt the source of true spirit that far surpassed his own. This meant that Zhao Feng had 2 sources of true spirit within his body. This was his advantage. Under normal situations, the Water Moon Pirate source of true spirit could only be used to replenish Zhao Feng's source of true spirit. This source of true spirit's element had been changed by the Water Moon Pirate and could be used by most bodies. However, Zhao Feng had comprehended the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible and with his God's spiritual eye's control, he could use this source of true spirit. After all, the Water Moon Pirate source of true spirit was condensed from the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible. This source of true spirit will decrease the more I use it. I can't use it unless I'm in danger or at a critical moment. Zhao Feng retracted his God's spiritual eye. Shwa! A slender and delicate figure flashed in. Chapter Leader, a letter personally written by the Deputy Patriarch. Dai Yi handed over a letter. Zhao Feng opened it and a light flashed in his eyes. Head to the capital within a month to compete for the sacred true dragon gathering spots. The entire Canopy Great Country only has 10 spots. Chapter 326. The Canopy Great Country had 8 superpowers and each one of them was stronger than a normal strong country. Apart from that, there were other small and large forces within the country. Families like the Flooding Lake City's Lu family were close to a strong country. However, such a large country only had 10 people participating in the sacred true dragon gathering. The time given by the Deputy Patriarch was 1 month. Zhao Feng still had some time to prepare. Zhao Feng wasn't worried about the spots. What he really needed to prepare was the sacred true dragon gathering itself. The geniuses participating in the sacred true dragon gathering were all prodigies of the continent with unique bloodlines, skills and abilities. Right now, Zhao Feng specialized in mental energy techniques and his movement skills. He didn't fear close combat. In close and mid-range combat, the Water Moon God Peach Fan was enough. For defensive support, the 3-flowered treasured lotus was the best. Right now, he only lacked a powerful long-range weapon. Ever since merging with the god's spiritual, Zhao Feng placed great importance on long-range weapons as they could utilize the god's spiritual eye's speciality. Furthermore, in life and death battles, a powerful long-range weapon would add a lot to the battle. Half a month later, Taigon Master finally arrived at the Thousand Water chapter and immediately left after receiving Zhao Feng's letter. 5 Elemental Piercing Crystal. 5 Elemental Yuan Crystal. Meteorite Metal. Mystic Ice Crystal Marrow. Taigon Master's eyes lit up as he sorted out the precious materials on Zhao Feng's side. According to Zhao Feng's thoughts, he could either create a new bow or upgrade the Luoho bow. Taigon Master felt the material of the Luoho bow, especially the blue ice lotus symbol on the bow, and felt slightly regretful. It's a pity that the ice energy of the ice soul mark isn't enough for you at your current level. Furthermore, The Luoho bow and arrows are both mortal-grade weapons and their potential has been squeezed out. Zhao Feng couldn't help but feel slightly regretful and would probably have to give up on the Luoho bow. Of course, the 5-elemental piercing crystal and 5-elemental yuan crystal could even upgrade spiritual-grade items, much less mortal-grade items. However, this would be a waste. Taigon Master understood that Zhao Feng and the Luoho bow had worked together for many years and had great chemistry. He thought for a while before smiling. This Luoho bow can also be reforged to create a new Luoho bow and arrows. I'm confident that it will be even better than the original owners. Zhao Feng was naturally pleased. This was a plan that satisfied both sides. The Rahu bow reforged by the new furnace was definitely not the same as the original bow, but some of its characteristics and advantages would continue, or even surpass, the original bow. More importantly, Zhao Feng didn't need to use a completely unfamiliar long-range weapon. After that, Zhao Feng and Taigon Master started to calculate the cost. Apart from the 5-elemental piercing crystal and 5-elemental primal crystal, Zhao Feng also spent several million primal crystal stones to create a more perfect Luoho bow. Hehe, you sure have a lot of capital now. The price you've spent has already surpassed that of ordinary spirit middle-tier god weapons. Taigon Master was very satisfied with the items. Although it was a bit extravagant, it was perfect. Zhao Feng left the task to Taigon Master. He still needed time to go to the main headquarters of the Iron Blood religion to fight for the spots of the sacred True Dragon Gathering. Relax, I'll guarantee you a perfect long-range bow in half a month. Taigon Master promised. Zhao Feng left assured and rode the 3-flowered treasured lotus towards the direction of the capital with Dai Lan. With Zhao Feng's current cultivation, his chi of true spirit was pure and the 3-flowered treasured lotus flying ability was comparable to the true mystic rank. In less than 10 days, Zhao Feng returned to the main headquarters of the Iron Blood religion. The headquarters wasn't far from the capital. As soon as he returned, Zhao Feng was summoned by the deputy patriarch. Not just him, but Dai Yi as well. Great Hall of the Iron Blood religion. When Zhao Feng and Dai Yi entered, there were many upper echelons of the Iron Blood religion including protectors, elders and chapter leaders. Apart from them, there was also a male and female standing in the middle of the hall with respectful expressions. Chapter leader Zhao has arrived. Zhao Feng's loud voice sounded as he entered the hall. Chapter leaders were already the upper echelons of the Iron Blood religion and many of them were at the true mystic rank. Therefore, when Zhao Feng entered, he was soon given a seat. There were several chapter leaders and elders who greeted Zhao Feng. The youngest chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion made Zhao Feng receive a lot of attention. At the same time, the male and female standing in the hall looked towards Zhao Feng with envy and unwillingness. Dai Yi stood side by side with the man and woman. Zhao Feng could roughly guess what was going on. Jiang Sanfeng, Dong Shua, and Dai Yi are all geniuses and elites nurtured by the Iron Blood branch. Jiang Sanfeng is one of the 10 stars of the great country's younger generation. Someone soon introduced to Zhao Feng. Jiang Sanfeng wore a mystic gold battle robe and was in his 20s or 30s. His eyes were like 2 balls of light that gave others a burning feeling. This person's cultivation had reached the late stages of the true human rank and he was the #1 genius of the Iron Blood religion. Dong Shua was a beautiful girl with snow-white skin. She was in her 20s but had reached the early stages of the true human rank. This was unimaginable in the cloud area. The last one was Dai Yi. Zhao Feng was more familiar with. Jiang Sanfeng's skill and aura seemed to have increased greatly. His scorching sun-blazing fire scripture has probably reached the 6th level. There's only one other true mystic rank expert in the religion who's at this level. Jiang Sanfeng participated in the last sacred True Dragon Gathering 10 years ago and reached the top 300, but he wasn't able to enter the True Dragon Geniuses. Now that his skill and cultivation have increased, his chances of reaching the top 100 aren't small. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion discussed in private. At this time, the deputy patriarch spoke. this time, my Iron Blood religion will send chapter leader Zhao, Jiang Sanfeng, Dai Yi and Dong Shui to fight for the sacred true dragon gathering spots. Does anyone have any objections? Hearing this, the upper echelon all nodded their heads. These four were indeed the strongest geniuses of the Iron Blood religion. The rest of the younger generation hadn't even reached the true spirit realm. This was especially so for Jiang Sanfeng and Zhao Feng, who stood out amongst their generation. The people to fight for the spots have been decided. However, the Iron Blood religion has a predetermined spot every time. The white-haired regulations elder smiled faintly. The predetermined spot was to decide who would participate in the sacred true dragon gathering and didn't need to go through the complicated battles. One had to know that the entire Canopy Great Country only had 10 spots. Below the 8 super forces, there were many other forces with a population of at least 100 times that of the 13 countries. Countless geniuses from the various forces stood out. How intense would the competition for the 10 spots be? Therefore, the 10 spots from the Great Country had to go through repeated battles. Not only the Canopy Great Country, but the other great countries and strong countries as well as the 10 great clans also had intense battles. At the same time or around the same time period. Across the continent, there were people fighting for the few spots. For the sake of fairness, most of the factions would conduct rounds of competitions. The predetermined spot didn't need to go through rounds of battles and would be decided as a temporary spot to participate in the sacred true dragon gathering. Only when the geniuses from the other geniuses were able to compete with each other would they make a move and accept the challenge. The problem now was, who would the Iron Blood religion give the predetermined spot to? The predetermined spot was a symbol of strength and glory. Most people believed that you had the strength to participate in the sacred true dragon gathering. Deputy Patriarch, in the past, the 10 stars from the great country were the predetermined spots. An elder warned. The 10 stars from the great country were more experienced and had participated in the sacred true dragon gathering before, such as Jiang Sanfeng. Of course, there were also some newcomers who had defeated the older generation and taken their spots. My Iron Blood religion values strength and status. Zhao Feng beat Tian Yunji previously and that shows his strength. At the same time, he's the youngest chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion and his status is unquestionable. The Deputy Patriarch said. Hearing this, the upper echelon nodded their heads. In terms of strength, status and methods, Zhao Feng was a top elite. More importantly, he was still so young and had limitless potential. However, some of the upper echelon didn't care. When Zhao Feng beat Tian Yunji, it was a battle between the two and was affected by many factors. The reason why he dominated the Thousand Water River region was because of Yun Sha, Chen Mengzhen and Dai Yi. It's just luck and we can't say for sure. Jiang Sanfeng has been in the 10 stars for many years and has participated in the last sacred true dragon gathering, so he's more experienced. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion discussed in low voices. Both Zhao Feng and Jiang Sanfeng had their own supporters. This meant that the decision was in the Deputy Patriarch's hands. However, the blood-hair-colored Tiamat didn't immediately speak. Jiang Sanfeng stood in the middle of the hall. He had always been arrogant, but at this moment, he felt a little uneasy. He took in a deep breath, his eyes blazing with sharpness as he stared at Zhao Feng. Truthfully speaking, the youngest chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion gave him a lot of pressure. The other party's achievements made him famous across the great country. His status in the Iron Blood religion was also high. Furthermore, the Deputy Patriarch placed great importance on him. How about this? To be fair, let Jiang Sanfeng spar with chapter leader Zhao. The white-haired regulations elder smiled faintly. She understood the Deputy Patriarch's meaning. If Tiamat had made a decision, he could make the final decision under this situation. However, he didn't speak, which showed his intentions. Chapter leader Zhao, what do you think? The blood-hair-colored Tiamat's mouth curled slightly. He also wanted to use this chance to see Zhao Feng's progress. Okay. Zhao Feng nodded his head and slowly stood up from the chapter leader's seat. He obviously wanted to become a pre-ordered and was too lazy to participate in the complicated battles. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion had expectant gazes. Boom! In the center of the Iron Blood Palace, there was a circular arena that was hundreds of meters wide, surrounded by layers of deep blue water. Shua shua! Zhao Feng and Jiang Sanfeng jumped onto the arena. Zhao Feng's body sank and found that this arena had 10 times the gravity. All of his actions became slow and strenuous. If it was someone at the weaker ascended realm, they would probably instantly spit out blood. Chapter 327. Being on this stage, Zhao Feng realized that it contained a crystallization of intelligence and the mechanisms within had exceeded his knowledge. Gravity-type array formations were profound and rare to begin with. They involved the nomological force fields of heaven and earth. Under 10 times the gravity, even those at the true spirit realm couldn't unleash their moves and power. It could even be said that one could only use 10% of their peak speed and power here. Chapter Leader Zhao, this subordinate has long heard of your name. Today, I would like to ask for some pointers from you in front of the Iron Blood religion. Although Jiang Sanfeng was arrogant, the religion had its rules and he had to maintain his courtesy even if he wasn't convinced in his heart. Do whatever you want. Zhao Feng nodded his head casually. Jiang Sanfeng snickered coldly in his heart. This brat who hadn't even grown his hair yet really thought he was someone important. The tone he used was like he was talking to a junior. The respect he showed to Zhao Feng was only on the surface. He was determined to win the battle for the preliminaries. Sorry. Jiang Sanfeng's body glowed with a scarlet gold light. He was wearing a mystic gold battle robe and before he even used his move, a scorching aura of true spirit condensed on the arena. Blazing fire heart-burning palm. Jiang Sanfeng thrust out his palm and layers of qi of true spirit shook the air and pushed towards Zhao Feng. When the entire arena slightly shook. This was the core arena of the Iron Blood religion. If it was a normal area, even a small mountain would have been flattened. Zhao Feng felt like the air around him was filled with a scorching aura, as if it was boiling hot. This was especially so for Jiang Sanfeng's palm. The layers of vibrations turned into an invisible scorching power that struck towards the organs of the opponent. If normal true human rank opponents didn't know the inside story, they might have their organs destroyed by Jiang Sanfeng and die instantly. In the best-case scenario, the scorching fire would enter their body. Jiang Sanfeng has improved quite a bit. His blazing sun-burning scripture has reached such a high level that normal true human rank experts probably won't even be able to take a few moves from him. In a few more years, he'll reach the peak of the true human rank and be a chapter leader. Many of the higher-ups of the Iron Blood religion admired Jiang Sanfeng. Swoosh swoosh. Zhao Feng's palm was covered in azure electric patterns. He patted the air, and layers of spiderweb-like electric chains charged forward. Boom! The two forces clashed together, creating a powerful shockwave that was enough to instantly kill anyone below the true spirit realm. Around the stage, the deep blue ripples were like a deep ocean, directly absorbing the power of the attacks from both sides, not moving an inch. The profound application of the water formation has an extremely strong absorption of energy. Zhao Feng's gaze swept across the formation around the stage. This formation was similar to Baimuo's dark water inheritance, but it was more profound. Whoosh! In the first round of confrontation, Zhao Feng dodged Jiang Sanfeng's raging fire heart-burning palm, which shook and burned his internal organs. Is it luck? Jiang Sanfeng's eyes twinkled with disbelief. His raging fire heart-burning palm, through the special superposition and vibration of the raging sun palm, could send an even more obscure and formless raging sun dark energy into the opponent's vital organs. It was like hitting a bull across a mountain, impossible to defend against. Zhao Feng's casual movement allowed him to dodge this fatal move. On the other hand, Jiang Sanfeng was slightly numbed by the power of lightning. At this moment, Zhao Feng seemed to be casually observing the movements of the array, which made Jiang Sanfeng even angrier. It seemed that Zhao Feng was more interested in the stage than his opponent. Raging sun, burning heaven. Jiang Sanfeng roared, and with his next palm strike, countless sparks of raging flames whistled through the air, dyeing the entire sky above the stage red with raging flames. The water vapor in the air was instantly sucked dry. This palm carried a high temperature, the purest raging flames erupting. It was berserk and wreaked havoc. There was no way to dodge. Raging sun, burning heaven is a large area attack. Let's see how you dodge it. Jiang Sanfeng's palm seemed to be filled with endless anger. Shua shua. The lightning under Zhao Feng's feet trembled and a layer of lightning wrapped around his body. He was like a ghost as he dove into the flames that filled the sky. No! He was shuttling through the gaps between the flames. Shua shua shua. In that instant, the ghostly figure was like a fish swimming through the dense coral in the deep sea. Outside the stage, the higher-ups of the Iron Blood religion had their eyes wide open. Amidst the flames, the youth stepped on lightning and passed through the gaps between the flames. He used the least amount of energy to dodge Jiang Sanfeng's terrifying attacks. Under 10 times the gravity, he's still able to display such speed and agility. He's merged the laws of lightning into his speed. No, there's also a ghostly and ethereal concept that allows him to come and go without a trace. The higher-ups of the Iron Blood religion were all knowledgeable. At this moment, Zhao Feng had the absolute advantage in terms of speed. How is this possible? He's easily dodged all of my attacks. Jiang Sanfeng's expression finally changed as his expression turned solemn. His blazing sun heart-burning palm had high temperature and explosive power, but it also consumed a lot of energy. Under this situation, even if Zhao Feng didn't attack, he would still be able to exhaust him to death. Blazing sun heart-piercing spear. Jiang Sanfeng took a deep breath and condensed up flame spear in his palm. It whistled through the air and pierced towards Zhao Feng's chest. The speed of the blazing sun heart-piercing spear was extremely fast. Its explosive speed was even faster than long-range weapons. Zhao Feng felt a faint sense of danger and a burning sensation in his heart. Blade of lightning. Zhao Feng waved his hand and a half-foot-long blade of lightning instantly slashed out. He raised his hand and cut the terrifying flame spear into two. This kid's attack, speed and reaction speed are all so strong. Jiang Sanfeng felt the pressure and beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. The skill that he cultivated was compatible with the fire Yuan Qi and specialized in offense. However, the opponent allowed him to attack and he couldn't do anything. This was extremely frustrating for someone who specialized in offense. Shua! Zhao Feng's figure suddenly split into three. Three identical electric ghostly figures pounced at Jiang Sanfeng from three different directions at the same time. Their speed was too fast. Three ghostly figures instantly surrounded Jiang Sanfeng and launched their attacks on the arena that was merely 300 meters wide. All three are the same. Jiang Sanfeng's heart went cold. In a short amount of time, he wouldn't be able to tell which one was real and which one was fake. Blazing sun ring explosion. Jiang Sanfeng's chi of true spirit surged and released waves of flames that were enough to turn a palace into ashes. Jiang Sanfeng isn't his match. He's been suppressed from start to finish. The white-haired regulations elder shook her head and sighed. Zhao Feng didn't spend much effort but forced Jiang Sanfeng to use a large amount of his chi of true spirit. The ancient robed protector faintly nodded his head. Peng peng peng. The attacks of the three figures instantly exploded and the waves of flames shattered. Bam! A trace of blood leaked out from the corner of Jiang Sanfeng's mouth. Seeing two of the lightning phantoms disappear, he exclaimed in shock, 3 phantoms, and all of them have offensive abilities. So, Zhao Feng had used the secret technique of the Yin Shadow Cloak, Shadow Doppelganger. When one's cultivation reached a certain level, the Shadow Doppelganger formed by the cloak could not only confuse the enemy but also attack. This time, Zhao Feng was just testing the waters. Zhao Feng has many powerful treasures. Unfortunately, Jiang Sanfeng can't see through his eye bloodline. Blood hair-colored Tianma was slightly regretful. What he was really interested in was Zhao Feng's eye bloodline. Claw of lightning. Zhao Feng looked down from the sky and slashed out with his claw. A claw of lightning several yards long crackled as it slammed down like a bolt of lightning. Not good. Jiang Sanfeng's figure had just stabilized when he felt a destructive and domineering aura of lightning charge towards him. His blood and true force trembled and became numb. The power of the claw of lightning wasn't just terrifying, it also had the ability to lock onto targets. Jiang Sanfeng couldn't dodge at all and could only barely block it with a palm. The claw of lightning leapt over like an owl catching a mouse. Peng! Jiang Sanfeng was smashed to the ground by the powerful claw and his head and face were scorched black. What was even more amazing was that the claw of lightning didn't explode after pressing him to the ground and instead instantly dissipated. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion let out a breath. If Jiang Sanfeng had allowed that claw attack to explode, it would have caused him to pay a terrible price. Luckily, Zhao Feng could use the claw of lightning freely. Thanks. Zhao Feng glanced at the numb Jiang Sanfeng on the ground and smiled before leaving. Lord Division Leader, your strength is formidable. This subordinate is ashamed of his inferiority. Jiang Sanfeng barely managed to climb up and his face was filled with shame. At this moment, he finally understood that this youth had kidnapped Empress Qin, defeated Tian Yunji, and swept across the Thousand Water River area. He definitely had his own methods. What made him speechless was that this youth was at least a dozen years younger than him. The age limit of the sacred True Dragon Gathering was 50, so Jiang Sanfeng, who was in his 20s or 30s, could participate. Spectacular! The blood hair-colored Tianma clapped his hands in praise. Although he hadn't seen Zhao Feng's eye bloodline, the claw of lightning was extremely powerful and not many under the true mystic rank could take it head-on. This Zhao Feng is only 16 or 17 years old and already has such strength and status. His future potential is immeasurable. He might have a chance to reach the top 100 in this sacred True Dragon Gathering and reach the peak of the continent next time. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion exclaimed and no longer had any objections. Zhao Feng won over the crowd and won the prelims. Many people were overjoyed, including Dong Shui who was competing for the sacred True Dragon Gathering spot. Only Dai Yi wasn't surprised. She had always been by Zhao Feng's side and knew the chapter leader's true strength. What he had shown today was probably just the tip of the iceberg. After the prelims were decided, Zhao Feng, Jiang Sanfeng, Dai Yi and Dong Shui left together and prepared to leave for the capital in a couple of days. Chapter leader Zhao, I admire your strength. No wonder even Tian Yunji lost to you. In the current Canopy Great Country, only Prince Jin is your opponent. Jiang Sanfeng said solemnly. Prince Jin. He's very strong. Zhao Feng revealed an interested expression. This Prince Jin has reached the peak true human rank and is the #1 star of the great country. He reached the top 100 in the last sacred True Dragon Gathering. His bloodline is said to be the strongest in the great country. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.